Football. We have football tonight. NFL football on the docket. Cowboys, Eagles kicking off later this evening. We've got Nate Washington, former Titans wide receiver on the show, former Volunteers offensive lineman. Not the one you're used to, but Jack Jones will be in studio. Murfreesboro legend here in just about 15 minutes from now. Robert, Lucas, and me are with you until 1 o'clock. There's a new episode of The Install out previewing Titans at Broncos. We are officially all the way back, and I'm happy about it. Good morning, boys.
Good morning. Adam Schefter dropping bombs at the Eagles, tried to trade for Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys said no way to set the table for this much-anticipated NFC East matchup. The Dallas Cowboys, who everybody wants to see on their TVs on night one of the NFL regular season.
Can you imagine? I love Howie Roseman so much. Does every NFL fan wish that Howie Roseman was their general manager? Because this man will stop at nothing to put together salary cap be damned. No matter what's Micah making right now from the Packers, $47 million a year, I believe, is the average annual value of the contract. Doesn't matter who's already there. Doesn't matter what you already have. Doesn't matter that you're not necessarily in win-now mode if you're Philadelphia, because you just come off a Super Bowl championship run. He's at least going to call and try and mess around and add Micah Parsons. Howie Roseman is an absolute shark. And the Cowboys, the one good thing that the Cowboys have done in the middle of this is not trade Micah Parsons to the Eagles. Can you imagine?
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Oh, God.
I mean, you still traded it to another NFC team that has routinely gotten in the way of you breaking that streak of not being to a conference championship game in almost 3 decades. So it's a little bit better than trading him in the division, but it's not that much better than trading him in the division. They play the Packers this year. Cowboys are going to see Micah Parsons.
Well, and arguably, Packers fans hate Troy Aikman because they feel, because of the rivalry between the Packers and the Cowboys. Like the Packers and the Cowboys, for non-divisional opponents, that's as big a rivalry almost as the other teams within the NFC East that they play. So I guess it's, not quite as dastardly as it would have been hypothetically trading Micah Parsons from Dallas to Philadelphia. But it would have, imagine the Cowboys win tonight. What's Jerry going to be like? Because they're that's 8.5-point underdogs in Philadelphia tonight, the Dallas Cowboys, in your DraftKings sportsbook apps, promo code THEZONE, one word, if you want to get in on the action. I wonder what the game plan is going to be for Philadelphia, because the whole thing is, they traded for Kenny Clark, and that's going to beef up their run defense, and Jerry's worried about their run defense, and they're a better team without Micah Parsons. You asked Jerry Jones about it. And that's going to shore up one of their weakest spots on the roster. But what if Philadelphia just comes out throwing the ball? Says, your secondary's suspect. Let's just air it out. We've got the tools to do it. We've got A.J. Brown. We've got Devontae Smith.
And you don't have the best pass rusher in the National Football League.
Why don't we just air it out? Bleep your run defense. We just won't run the way that you expect us to. And Saquon Barkley's going to get his, one would imagine. And this year is going to be an interesting year for Saquon because, as we've talked about a million times over, they got the top 0.00001% season of health from Saquon Barkley. And he was excellent. And he was behind one of the best offensive lines in the league last year. Fair to expect that he'll still be a good player, provided that, as you say about any player, provided that he can be healthy. But I wonder what Saquon Barkley year 2 in Philadelphia is going to look like. I wonder how close they're going to get to being a team that can repeat that way, because we don't talk about them in the same, with the same kind of airs that we do the Kansas City Chiefs when they're sniffing around three-peats and things like that. But Philadelphia could make some noise here. They could do it.
Wide open NFC. So we'll wonder about that. I will wonder if Dan Moore Jr. is going to be available for the Titans on Sunday.
Yeah, we have an injury report, and Dan Moore Jr. did not practice yesterday, dealing with an ankle injury. L'Jarius Sneed is also on the injury report, but that is as a limited participant as he works his way back. No determination, obviously, yet on whether or not L'Jarius Sneed will be available in Denver. And Kevin, see, here's the other thing. How long has Kevin Winston Jr. been out?
He's missed quite a bit of time. He did come back into the fray a couple weeks ago in a limited capacity. So he hasn't been 100% absent for the entirety of training camp, but it was kind of full go right at the beginning. And then they reeled him back in, and we didn't see him for a while, and then he kind of slowly has been getting worked back in and limited with a hamstring designation.
Well, that's the thing. When did he pick up the hamstring?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dan Moore Jr., the ankle, is that something that happened in the Falcons game? Maybe he re-aggravated it at practice. Is that a new injury that he picked up at practice? I have no idea, but didn't expect that. It is very good not to see Lloyd Cushenberry and T'Vondre Sweat on the injury report. Seems like they're a full go for Sunday.
Yeah, no, Lloyd Cushenberry talked in the locker room yesterday. He says he's excited to get back. No designation for him, as Lucas mentioned. But that's the thing. Like, I want to know when Kevin Winston Jr. picked up that hamstring injury, because we've been operating under the assumption that they're just slow playing him, that shouldn't be an issue at all. So is that going to be something that we have to monitor, as is the case for a lot of these soft tissue things, just things to keep an eye on. But yeah, Dan Moore Jr., he got rolled up on in Atlanta, as you mentioned, and that's when Oli Udoh came in a reserve capacity, as they were starting some of the starting Titans offensive linemen out there with Cam Ward. And Nick Bonitto, who Dan Moore Jr. theoretically, assuming that he plays, we have no indication to say whether he would or would not play in Denver, but Nick Bonitto, who Dan Moore Jr. is almost exclusively going to face if he starts at left tackle on Sunday, just got a fat new contract extension courtesy of Athletes First, which was also reported this morning.
Yeah, 4-year, $106 million extension, $70 million in guaranteed money. And he was a full participant. Was on the injury report, but as a full participant for the Broncos.
Yeah, so it's Bonitto, it's Marvin Mims, it's Alex Singleton, one of their linebackers. Those three were full participants, even though they are listed with designations. You have tight end Nate Adkins for the Broncos, DNP with an ankle, and Dre Greenlaw, who they signed to come in and supplement the loss of Cody Barton. Now Titan captain Cody Barton is dealing with a quad injury. He also did not practice. So those are the natural follow-ups today when we head out to Titans practice after the show, specific to Dan Moore Jr., though I need to look at my schedule, but I don't believe Brian Callahan is talking today.
No, he's going to talk tomorrow, but it's just going to be the post-Friday practice check-in on who is and isn't going to be out on Sunday. So I don't think he's going to be at the podium tomorrow.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be hand-wringing, because people saw Dan Moore Jr. on the injury report and immediately threw their hands up in the air and said, he's paid $82 million for a left tackle, and now all of a sudden he's not practicing? It's one day. I mean, we don't have any indication one way or the other, but that would be a bit of a frustration if you spent a 4-year, $82 million contract on a left tackle, and all of a sudden week one against one of the most ferocious defenses that is on your schedule for your rookie quarterback, you're dealing with a left tackle that is even remotely in a limited capacity.
We'll see what happens. We can't say where he picked up the injury. Like, to say that it was something that started with that Falcons preseason game would be purely speculating, but not ideal. We'll see. Ramon didn't sound terribly concerned this morning about Dan Moore Jr., just with his mental makeup and his ability to play through stuff, and so we'll see.
615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in, we would be happy to have your participation throughout the course of the show. The F&M Bank chat is also at your disposal. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, if you would like to interact there. So, with injury reports now a thing, we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. The question is, of course, now that we don't have to necessarily worry about Lloyd Cushenberry, the question becomes L'Jarius Sneed. And while, the Broncos' skill position players don't strike fear into your heart necessarily, it would be beneficial to have as many pieces and parts of that Titans defense as humanly possible, and to have the theoretically best corner on the team, though he was not in the 5 games that he played last year, out there and available. It would, I think, soothe a lot of the Titans fans who are up in arms about just the entire L'Jarius Sneed experience. He was in the locker room yesterday, didn't speak about anything necessarily. I don't think he was made available. Some players speak on certain days. For example, Jeff Simmons, I'm sure we'll talk today. Jeff is typically a Thursday guy, for those of you who pay attention to press conference, or rather locker room clips. Other things to come out of the locker room yesterday, Cedric Gray was never officially told that he's a starting linebacker. He just kind of, assumed, because they started giving him more first-team reps. I thought that was funny. He also was very disappointed about his North Carolina Tar Heels.
I'm sure he was.
And I did not see Alec Iamaleava in the locker room yesterday, though he is obviously an interesting subject in the middle of all of this, as one of 2 now Titans 2025 rookies that will be in the starting lineup come week 1. So if we can get a chance to speak to Alec today, that would be helpful because I'd be curious to know what his thoughts are on the entire situation. J.K. Dobbins as the starting running back for Denver, and we'll talk more Broncos Titans today. In fact, there's a full preview up and available, courtesy of Greg Cosell on 104. It's up there, Robert, on YouTube.
Technically, it's courtesy of me because I threw it up.
But it's there.
It is there.
Okay.
Both on YouTube and on your podcast.
Well done by you. All right, so you can check out the full Broncos Titans Week 1 preview. Also a few games of note sprinkled in because, of course, with football season back, that means Cosell's NFL matchup show with Sal Pal and Darius Butler on ESPN on Saturday mornings is also back, so you can get even more X's and O's details there. But the Broncos, one of the worst rushing teams in football last year. And on the counter of that, the number 1 defense against the run in terms of efficiency. How much of that carries over year is going to be interesting, but they've got a lot of returning pieces and parts, of course. And so that will be something that the Titans have to figure out throughout the course of that game on Sunday. Vols fans feeling pretty good coming off of that win over Syracuse. Jack Jones, the former Volunteer offensive lineman, Murfreesboro legend, going to join us in studio coming up next.
Work. It's what we do. Part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Jack Jones, Murfreesboro's finest. Former Tennessee offensive lineman hanging out around. We don't have enough Tennessee offensive linemen, former Tennessee offensive linemen, it seems.
You can never have too many.
We figured we'd add another one. Well, you need 5. We've got 2. We've got 2 down at this point in time.
Bird counts. We can get Bird in there.
Yeah, well, his pass set. Maybe we have Jack Jones grade Robert's pass set at some point.
I'd love that.
Throughout the course of the the segment here. Big win for the Vols over Syracuse and Atlanta. They've got East Tennessee State. So Tennessee.
You say that like it's the first time you've ever heard of that university.
It is absolutely the
Johnson
first time
City.
that I've ever heard of that university, correct. But then Georgia, very soon thereafter, the number 4 team in the country coming to Neyland Stadium. Big Jack, you know.
How are we doing? Big win
Big
at
win.
Syracuse. I was excited to see the quarterback play. I think we got ourselves a guy that can run the high ball offense. But I know we're all kind of really anticipating that Georgia game here in a couple weeks. I feel like it's just the calm before the storm, before that one.
What was that like? Because you played in those games, right? The game sandwiched in between the opener and that SEC opener, which was always Florida, ETSU, Austin P, whoever it might have been when you were in school. What is that week of prep like? Like, what's your mindset as a starter for a game like that?
So you treat this is the coach speech, but week by week you're focused on that next game. But you got to think that the coaches are sprinkling in some things during team period, throughout practice that are also prepping for Georgia as well. I felt like that was a common theme. You might not know it, but they're prepping some of that stuff.
When you watch Aguilar, who gets out there, and we are getting ready to have a discussion at some point of what Vols fans enjoyed more this weekend: Alabama getting their asses kicked by Florida State, or Nico Iamaleava getting his ass kicked by Utah. When you see the difference between the way that Nico played within that offense and how much more just free Aguilar seems in that system, what are your takeaways when you see that level of quarterback play, understanding that one should be significantly better or is significantly more talented, but it doesn't necessarily translate if you don't play with that level of what did David Ubbin say yesterday? Not quite recklessness, but just a level of freedom that Aguilar seems comfortable with, as opposed to Nico holding the ball
just
and
cutting it loose,
making it feel a bit constipated almost.
Well, I think the biggest thing is you see what happens when you give our quarterback time in the Heupel offense. If he's got time, he's going to be able to spread that thing out. Heupel's going to get some guys open. I loved that. He was confident. He had poise, because there was a couple balls he might have misthrown a little bit early. Had a couple drops. That was the thing. There's a few. You hate to see early in the game. You hate to see those little drops because you want to see your quarterback get into rhythm. I felt like with Nico, if they had a couple drops early, it was going to be a long day every time. And you saw him hit that 75-yard bomb, pretty far into the game after he had a couple mistakes. And, you see those first game mix-ups, like with the fumble, the handoff, stuff like that. That's expected for the first game. That's coachable things that I think that, you look and you watch the tape and you fix it. But I just liked his poise. And the big thing for me, obviously I'm biased, was the offensive line. I mean, they stepped up, 0 sacks. I think Lance Hurd, 31 pass protections, had like two where they might have gotten in the face a little bit of Aguilar, but he was pretty much clean all day. You love that out of your left tackle. You see the kid from Oakland stepping up. I think that was a big deal, having a guy having to shift right before the first game and moving him out to right tackle. Jesse Perry did a great job. I was really impressed with him. Murfreesboro guy. Shout out to Burrow.
Burrow strong.
Yeah.
What school, Jesse Perry?
He went to MTCS. We tried to get him over to Oakland, but
Yeah, because y'all don't have enough high-level football players.
We're just working with what we got down there.
Yeah.
Well, but speaking of Oakland, that running back room, I feel like nationally much was made of Dylan Sampson leaving. And they rack up 248 rush yards on the day. DeJuan Morris gets involved for a drive. I feel like DeJuan Morris is a guy that Tennessee fans, he's just kind of quietly there behind that trio right there. But there's a lot of excitement about the former USC commit, now Tennessee Vol this season and beyond.
It reminds me a little bit of Dylan Sampson a couple years ago when he was kind of buried in the depth chart a little bit. I was actually I actually watched the game with Coach Creasy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we were talking about it, and they said he's doing a great job. He said they're very pleased. He's young. He's learning. I think probably trying to figure out pass protection a little bit, but
which was the big thing with Sampson.
But I feel like by the time DeJuan gets cooking, he's going to be out there catching balls. He's put on, I think, 20 pounds. He was back there returning kicks too, but he never let loose with any of them. So yeah, I think he's a player. We got depth there. You saw where Bishop, Lewis, and Thomas all kind of, three-headed monster, and then you got DeJuan if one of those guys happens to get banged up, which I think DeJuan, too, is more of a flashy guy as well, so another layer if he ends up getting some playing time.
I got a chance to do some Oakland games of his last couple. The change of direction is just insane with this dude. So, yeah, we'll see how much it's kind of a first world problems that he's, it's going to take a minute for him to crack that rotation. Maybe an injury is what it would take, but to lose Dylan Sampson for what he did last year, you could argue the running back position is among the best feeling right now in terms of what you have on the roster.
And this offensive line we got too. I mean, we got this three-headed monster, four-headed if you count DeJuan, and then you got this offensive line where we've already seen, one of the tackles going out and them having to move around a little bit, because that's going to happen throughout the season. You're going to have guys falling out. So to be able to already kind of see that and them shift and make a game out of it and rush for 250, I mean, that's impressive. No sacks. You always got to tip your hat. Doesn't matter if you're playing ETSU, Syracuse, whoever. That's a big deal.
Former Vols offensive lineman Jack Jones hanging out in studio, a.k.a. Big Chevy, here with us on The Zone. I want to go back to what you said about, just getting a quarterback in rhythm and the importance for that for an offensive unit as a whole. Because, quarterbacks will tell you, I'll take a 3-yard completion. Just get me as many completions as possible. Let me get comfortable, and then I can cut it loose, like you mentioned, that 75-yard bomb. And that confidence bleeds through not just from the position of quarterback, but to everybody involved once you feel that level of comfort, once you feel that level of ease. And then what you guys are talking about, how much of and we'll see how much of a revelation it ends up being, right? Once we get into SEC competition, once you see the offensive line and the running back core against a, higher again, not to denigrate Syracuse, but it's going to get tougher. We understand this.
Sure.
And we were talking yesterday, Jack, about like lies that week one tells, like how much can you actually assign value to Arch Manning's struggles against Ohio State, or what happened between Florida State and Alabama and Tennessee's offense. Is that something that's going to be sustainable, or did we just see, a particularly exciting result that may level out at some point? But the comfort level of the quarterback and taking those completions and just making sure that you guys are in as good a position to succeed, no matter what the completion looks like, as long as you're getting those early and often, it sets you up for success for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. And the fact that they were just knocking the defense off the ball, I mean, that's a big thing I watch, is just are we getting that push up front? But a lot of his throws that, weren't as accurate, I feel like they were like high and away from the defender, almost like he just wasn't trying to turn the ball over. And I don't really have a huge problem with that. I think that was just first game nerves a little bit, and I think he's just trying to, Butch Jones always said the football is our dreams, goals, and aspirations. Like, and I know that's corny as hell, but it's true. Like,
ironically, not the corniest thing Butch has ever said.
Yeah, you're looking at a champion of life, man. Come on.
That's right, baby.
But yeah, I think he's got poise. He's a leader. Establishing that run game, if we can do that, it's going to help him out a lot. The biggest thing that I'm worried about with the Vols currently is our interior D-line. I think, we have some people out. We lost that nickel this week. He's going to be out, and then McCoy's coming back. But I loved seeing the play out of Hood and some of our secondary. Our linebackers look good. I think the biggest thing for us is going to be staying healthy on the interior D-line and stopping the run when we start playing teams like, Georgia.
Well, I know Rodney Gardner's done a really good job, like replenishing that depth year over year. But they did lose a lot through UDFA and draft picks and things like that.
Big O, I think, is going to be somebody that we miss. Amari Thompson is going to be somebody that we really miss this year. Just big presence in the middle. But I think it'll be fine. We'll see what happens with Moy and everybody getting back. But I'm a little bit worried about, our depth there and being able to really clog it up in the middle when we get into SEC play. But we got Ronnie Garner. We'll be all right.
Jack Jones here with us on 104.5 The Zone.
What do you think it is about the Heupel offense? To your point about Joey going a little high and wide, just a little bit of juice in some moments. Technically overthrows, but not the overthrows that we saw with the offense the last 2 years where the ball's falling on the ground 8 yards in front of the receiver. And for him, the issue has been turnovers the last 2 years. He didn't put the ball in harm's way once on Saturday. It's one game. We're going to see what happens. But there has yet to be a Heupel quarterback to throw more than 5 picks in a season since he took over. What is it about this offense? Like, what do you notice in terms of how he's setting up quarterbacks for success when it comes to taking care of the football?
I mean, I think the main thing for me is you just see how open these guys are getting. And that's been kind of the story the past since Heupel's been there is they're hitting people that are just, there's not people close on some of these deep balls across the middle stuff. But I also think it's that balanced run attack that we've had. I think that frees up a lot of our wide receivers to make plays as well. And just the pace in which we kind of come at you when we're moving the ball up the field and getting those quick shots on you. But he dials it up, man. I mean, I think that's evident. And I think the good thing is no matter what, I do think we'll be able to score points this year, regardless of if the defense is having a great day or not. I think, and that's why I love Heupel. I mean, at the end of the day, we can go and get a shootout. I mean, you saw what happened with the Bama win a couple of years ago. That was like 50, whatever. What was the final score of that?
48-45.
Yeah, I should know that one. But anyways, it was
knuckleball field goal at the end.
I mean, but that, if we got to put up points, he can put up some points. I think that
52-49.
Yeah, 52-49.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah, it's my kind of football game.
Yeah.
That's such a college thing, though.
Overs
like
Club.
The NFL, we are dying for touchdowns. And college football, it's like, what do you mean 30 seconds left in the game? You can march down and get a touchdown. It's pretty routine that way. I think that Heupel is such an interesting figure in all of this because we were talking, Jack, before the season got underway, like this was going to have to be one of Josh Heupel's best coaching jobs of his career for this to be more than just like, all right, shoulder shrug, 7-8 wins. Let's grit our teeth and bear it, get through it, and understanding a lot of turnover or a lot of turnover at the quarterback position, obviously, but just a lot of off-season storylines, whether it's Boo Carter or Nico or what's the name of the wide receiver? Mike Matthews, considering the portal, but ultimately coming back and everything that's just fraught about college football right now, where you have to deal with this every day in some form or fashion, just the management of players, the NIL situation, and the money that is now coming to them. But I try not to assign too much value to just one game, but like you have to, as a Tennessee alum and a Tennessee football alum, you have to have great confidence in the person that is now leading your program based on the way that he's managed all of this year over year and the fact that the goalposts kind of keep moving on him and he's able to adjust that way.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the respect of his players too. I think they all like him as a coach and as a man as well. I think that's an important thing.
This is not always the case.
Yeah, it isn't. Sometimes that's how it is with coaches. Sometimes it's more of a figure that's like a manager, NFL kind of style, I guess. But even in the NFL, you're seeing more of these younger, cool, fun coaches coming in that seems like they have relationships with their players. But I think Heupel has done a good job of balancing all the NIL madness. And I mean, what do you do? There's sometimes you gotta, like with Nico, you gotta just say, see ya. Like, you gotta draw the line. And I got a lot of respect for Heupel for doing that because that's a guy that, regardless of what's going on the outside, he's put his time in with this player, and this kid's got all this talent, and he was able to say, all right, this is, no means no. You got to go. This is what it is. And that showed me a lot about his character, and you got to draw the line somewhere, and I think he's done a great job, as good as anyone can do in this climate. I mean, it's wild what's going on out there.
The Nico thing, I wonder, like, this is probably a better question for Lucas, but, like, how long do you think Vols fans are just going to, like, follow along with the Nico
all season
thing?
Yeah, every game.
Rest of his life.
Forever.
Forever.
Which would have happened. which would have happened before anyway. Like Henry To'oTo'o was sort of the last, somewhat version of that.
Yeah, I remember.
Because of where he transferred to. And you can bet Tennessee fans were following along with that. But, Jack, this is different because of the money aspect of it now. And, like, you and I were at Tennessee about the same time. Like, you weren't playing at Tennessee that long ago, yet I'm guessing you had roommates when you got to Tennessee, right? You're rooming with teammates. These kids have, like, houses now. Like,
that's crazy.
Nico wasn't really going to classes. Most of his stuff was online. If he ever did go to a class, he's being carted to it, right? It felt like really pulling strings even to get him to do something on campus, whether it was an interview or he would just show up to practice and go back to the home that he owned. And so the landscape is so totally different with his entire family.
And I think that's the big point in college is like anybody, when you're going to college, you go to grow up and develop as an adult, and especially in football, getting away from all that. I think that was probably the biggest, in my opinion. I don't know anything. I wasn't close to him, but I can't imagine moving up to Knoxville and then having a bunch of my family members there and then trying to focus on football and school. And now you got all this NIL stuff and people are talking to you everywhere. Like, that would be a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and especially because it's a high school thing. Like, isn't that who's the Georgia commit that's playing local high school football?
Jared Curtis, the quarterback.
Doesn't he
Nashville
drive like a Lambo truck?
I have no idea.
I think he owns a condo. Like, these things are starting even earlier than because college seems extreme, but it's starting even at the most granular level of football this way. And so to be able to compartmentalize, anybody would struggle with that. It's understandable. But I'm just so curious to see how Vols fans manage this season, given what Syracuse looked like to start with, understanding that Georgia is 2 weeks away. By the way, and we've talked about this a million times, it's so weird that they're playing Georgia this early. Like, it's a hell of an entryway into SEC play to have them in the third week of the season.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. Georgia will probably it could easily be our toughest game this year. But then again, you also, it is the third game, so we're hoping that we're more healthy for this game than we would be if we played them later in the season. So there's give and takes for that. You got ETSU before, so hopefully you can get your guys out of there quick. I'd love to see Tennessee go in there and get everybody out by the second half, just from a keeping people healthy standpoint. And just, you like to see them go in there and take care of business, which I think Heupel has done that a lot with these little games over the past couple of years. They'll go in there and get after it. But I love to see them get the ball, take it down the field, score, get the ball back, score, kind of do what we're supposed to do at Tennessee and get everybody out of there so we can get ready for Georgia, because we know that's going to be a battle. You already know. But the turn on that is, it's going to be a battle. Third game of the year, you're probably going to lose somebody. Knock on wood, I hope no one gets hurt. But it's going to be a battle. It's SEC football, Georgia. So we'll see what happens with it. They better be ready, because them dollars are coming.
I have been too dismissive, it seems, of ETSU. I have a tweet here from somebody listening from Johnson City. He says, I feel like Buck is disrespecting Johnson City. ETSU, I can understand. They don't stand a chance, but next time Buck should refer to them as ETSU from the beautiful, awesome town of Johnson City. So
There's
nothing against Johnson City. Forgive me for being dismissive of the city, if not ETSU.
It is a beautiful town. Do you know who ETSU's quarterback is?
Do I? Should I?
Cade McNamara.
Oh, wow.
Former Michigan, former Iowa quarterback. Now is at ETSU.
How long has he been in college football?
Since 2019.
Oh, my God.
Dude's 25 years old. He won a Big Ten championship as Michigan's quarterback. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's now quarterbacking the Buccaneers this weekend. So, yeah, that's crazy. I heard Ramon mention that this morning, and that's the first I had seen that. So
that's
a lot of people are going to be like, oh, yeah, that guy playing for ETSU now. How pumped were you to see your former teammate Shai Tuttle signed by the Titans, make it out to Middle Tennessee?
So excited. So you're talking about roommates. Freshman year, Shai was my roommate, and he couldn't be a better dude, man. He's really got it. He went through a lot in college, had a tough injury, battled back through it. Kind of a cheap shot, if you remember.
Dude, the biggest cheap shot I've ever seen from an offensive lineman.
Kubla, what was that guy's name?
I can't remember who the Georgia O-lineman was, but yeah, he's trailing a play. Dude just launches himself at Shai's blindside through at his knee. Crazy, devastating injury, and he's made a career for himself from that.
He has, and he's couldn't be a better dude, couldn't be a better family.
He said awful things about you, Robert, yesterday when I asked him about you in the locker room.
That's not true. Shai loves me. I actually got Shai to announce his commitment before going to the University of Tennessee.
What do you want? You want a cookie for that?
No, it's
Did
where
they
he
go to
said he
school
was going to
together?
commit to. He said he was going to commit to the school of eating booty. I have an Instagram video, but when I went to go listen to it, Instagram removed the sound, so you'll have to read his lips.
That's so funny.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic way to end our segment.
I love you, Shai, man. He's the man.
Hanging out here with us in studio, the Chevy Vision. We can see it. Come hang out with us some more.
Hey, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
That's always a good time. That's Big Jack Jones, former Tennessee Vols offensive lineman, Murfreesboro's finest, here with us on 104.5 The Zone. We'll talk about Bama or Nico. What did Vols fans enjoy more? Coming up next. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you're experiencing performance issues, because erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But there's good news. There's real help. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. And they aren't cookie-cutter treatments that are on offer. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most guys didn't even know were out there. The initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and, if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Going to spend some time with Big Chevy, Jack Jones, Murfreesboro's finest. A lot of good football talent in Murfreesboro. I mean, Lucas is obviously doing the My TV 30 games on a regular basis. Oakland, though, just cranks them out, don't they?
Murfreesboro's always just been a hotbed, man. It's Oakland, it's Blackman. I mean, we didn't have time to talk to Jack about another one of his former teammates, Jawan Jennings. Niners adding $3 million in incentives to Jawan's deal. He and Jawan would have been rivals, arch rivals in high school, Blackman versus Oakland, and then, of course, roommates at Tennessee when they were playing together. But, yeah, I mean, it is one of the most just jam-packed with talent hotbeds in the state of Tennessee, Murfreesboro, without a doubt.
So, with the Vols theme, before we get back into Titans stuff, as we get ready for the Titans and the Broncos coming up on Sunday, I'll be out in Denver, of course. League Company Countdown to Kickoff will be on the air at 9 a.m., as is typically the case. I think it's Zach and Blaine holding it down from the studio, if I saw correctly via email. I think Brent is also going to be in the mix for the League Company Countdown to Kickoff, too, but I believe Zach and Blaine are here.
It will be, Zach and Blaine.
And then I will check in from Denver in the first hour, and we'll get you ready for that game specifically. Titans also back on the practice field later today. I will be out there later this afternoon, and we'll give you some updates from the locker room. But with the Vols fan theme that we were keeping, Lucas mentioned at some point earlier in the week, I think it was Tuesday, that the Vols fans got the triple crown of things that make you feel good. You got a Tennessee win, you got an Alabama loss, and you got Nico Iamaleava getting dummied at the hands of Utah in the middle of the night. Well, really early in the morning, depending on where you're watching that game. Was it 11 p.m. Central Time kickoff between UCLA and Utah?
10 Central.
Either way, gross.
11 Eastern, though, so the folks in East Tennessee were up well past midnight, for sure.
Just hate watching. And I asked Lucas the question in the last segment, how long are Vols fans going to hate watch Nico? And you said?
Yeah, all year, man. Like, it's tough because now we're in this era where these kids are millionaires. They are millionaire athletes. So, there's always been an element of going after student athletes for poor performance, for leaving a school, whatever, pre-NIL throughout the history of college football. But there was also always another side of it that was, okay, but like they're still 18, 19-year-olds, right? Like there was kind of this side of preaching to fans that would maybe step over that line in slamming a kid, for all intents and purposes, for something that happened on a college football field. Now that line feels more blurred than ever, right? Like it doesn't mean that it's okay to go after an 18, 19-year-old for something that happens at the college football level. But the line does get blurred when that kid is now a millionaire, essentially a professional athlete, right? Like that accountability level definitely goes up. So it's weird. On one hand, like I feel kind of gross about it, about watching this kid who at this point is in his third year as a college football player and hate watching it, as you say, and rooting for his demise.
I mean, that's what it is, isn't it? It's hate watching.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, you also made $1 million decision, and it was the wrong decision, and you kind of tried to take advantage of the place that brought you in and was developing you and went to war with the NCAA to preserve your eligibility and all of these things. So it's like, okay, I don't really know where to land on it. So it's hard for me to bash Tennessee fans for wanting to keep up with that sort of trend, because it's something that all offseason kind of colored the narrative of Tennessee football this year, that they're going to take a step back because Nico Iamaleava is no longer their quarterback. So similar to like how Tennessee fans are probably always going to, to some degree, keep up with the Greg Schiano stuff, right? Like, oh, Greg Schiano, great coach. We should have hired him when he's going 5-7 or whatever.
It's less about Schiano, right, than it is about Joel Klatt or what's the columnist who just left USA Today, Dan Wolken, or all these other kind of Pat Forty, right? These figures. I mean, what was Klatt's comment? It was like Tennessee fans don't deserve a coach like Greg Schiano. Well, he did like an appearance on Colin Cowherd.
He just said, I hope nobody takes that job. They don't deserve anybody, right? After they revolted against the Schiano thing. But yeah, I mean, you can find a million different cases of it.
Which is just a crazy thing to say from Joe Klatt, who is a very, I think, nuanced and reasonable individual under most circumstances.
Well, Tennessee fans keep receipts, right? Like anytime somebody but he's throwing stuff on the field, which happens routinely in college football. Every time you're going to see a horde of Tennessee fans on Vol Twitter going, "Oh, I thought Tennessee was the only one that does this," which, gets overblown and even for me gets annoying as a Tennessee alum. But this is one that, I feel that slight amount of vindication. I don't know, of this dude.
No, but you should.
Was making a crazy amount of money. He wanted double what he was making, even though the performance came nowhere close to matching that. And after all of that, and Heupel takes a stand and all of those things, and now he's back home, and the excuses are he wanted to be closer to family, and it was the offense and the lack of playmakers around him, and he's making substantially less than he was at Tennessee. And the idea that they could have upgraded within the offense with Joey Aguilar, and he's going to struggle with the UCLA team that doesn't really have much around him, and a first-year offensive play caller and a second-year head coach.
In an environment that nobody's going to see him.
In a half-empty stadium.
Other than scouts.
Yeah.
Scout, if he's a talented enough player to be considered at the next level, and obviously I think any kind of conversation around that is premature.
He kind of did this to himself.
Yes. I think there is, you can feel two ways about it, I think, at the same time. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can feel that it's an unfortunate situation, and he is still a kid, even though he's technically adult, and that you hate for anybody to have to learn through very difficult lessons. And this is going to be, one would hope, a learning experience in a very difficult way for a young person who made decisions and now has to be accountable for his decisions, whether or not his family, and really the dad, right, is at the crux of the problem, because it felt like there was plenty of information around that to look at the parents and be like, well, it's more on the parents than it is on the kid. You can have that conversation, but also, to your point, feel vindicated because your program did the thing that was hardest to do, right? Put their foot down on a 5-star quarterback after, what a celebration it was to get that 5-star quarterback.
Yeah.
For a program that has been scratching and clawing and fighting to get back to some level of relevance and was talking about how do we improve from college football playoff experience, first college football playoff experience, to turn that into more of a contender rather than just as a participant. Because the dynamic, or at least the conversation around Tennessee, totally changed in the middle of all that Nico conversation, whether that was fair or not. And I think you brought this up, whether it was on air or off the air, I can't remember, but you brought up that Tennessee fans were kind of jawing at you a little bit when you brought up the idea that Aguilar might be a better fit for what Tennessee was trying to accomplish within the offense versus Nico, who is the more talented player,
yes,
but not the better quarterback for this specific situation.
Yeah, clearly. So I think I said this on Monday. He is on a track right now. Nico is. He is currently trending towards, and there's a ton of time for him to reverse this, but he's trending towards 2-3 years from now when we talk about Nico Iamaleava, the college quarterback, we talk about him as a cautionary tale, not talking about him because of what he did on the field. Right now, that's what Nico is. He is a walking cautionary tale. It's up to him and that UCLA offense this year to reverse that and for him to be more remembered for what he did on the field at UCLA, although to an extent, because of how dominant that headline was, he's probably going to be remembered more for the fiasco that was his exit from Tennessee. But with that money comes some level of accountability, right? And I think that we saw it go over the line. We saw it. We saw one of these kids take it too far, and he's kind of paying for it. Joey Aguilar and Nico are making about the same amount of NIL money, reportedly.
Yeah.
Which means right now Joey's a richer man than Nico because he's doing it in Tennessee while Nico's doing it in California. So it's kind of that thing of, if you're a Vols fan, you kind of sit back and you say, okay, then that's kind of just karma in real time.
You don't think UCLA is planting a bunch of trees to pay Nico under the table?
Oh, I hadn't
Did you see they came out and denied it?
Well,
the Clippers organization.
Of course they did. They had no
the same way that the NFLPA denied it about all the wrongdoing that was going on there the last time one of these reports came out.
I listened to him on, I believe it was Dan Patrick, yesterday.
You're talking about Pablo Torre?
But yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, I'll be looking into the Jalen Brunson news next. You know, anyone with any skeletons in the closet are like, get this guy the hell out of here.
God forbid
Send him
they
to
put-
an island somewhere.
Well,
like,
Speaking of islands, God forbid they put him on the Epstein list, right? The documents that haven't been found. Yeah, Pablo Torre, go find out.
so many people were replying with that in the replies yesterday. Like, hey, someone stole my AirPod from my gym bag a year ago. Can you help me find it?
Marciano says Mark Cuban came out on Twitter and defended Steve Ballmer. No, I'll defend Steve Ballmer. I love that. I wish more owners would do that. I don't care about the rules. I want to win. I am pro Jim Harbaugh. I am pro Steve Ballmer. Cheat. I want a championship. I don't care. I don't care at all. And I understand that in the nature of competitive fairness and all these other things, they're not allowed to say that, and leagues aren't allowed to say that. But if I'm a fan, I am so pro Steve Ballmer in this moment. Thank you for being more creative than the rest of the NBA. I know it didn't result in a championship, but at least you're trying something.
Mark Cuban also agreed to go on Pablo's podcast, which will be a great episode, where they're going to debate the merits of whether this is morally right or wrong.
Cam Ward spoke to the media yesterday ahead of his first real NFL start. You'll hear from the Titans starting quarterback coming up next.
It is 11:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The first injury report of the regular season came out on Wednesday, and left tackle Dan Moore Jr. did not practice with an ankle injury. L'Jarius Sneed and Kevin Winston Jr. were limited. Lloyd Cushenberry and Tavondre Sweat were full participants. Cameron Ward met with the media after practice, and he talked about what he sees in the Broncos as he prepares for Week 1.
They're very sound. They're not going to beat themselves. It's a very good defense. They do a lot of different things up front and coverage-wise that you got to be ready for. But at the end of the day, we got to, make plays in the run game. I got to put the ball in the players, in my playmakers' hands, let those guys make plays for us.
The Broncos have extended pass rusher Nick Bonito on a 4-year deal worth $120 million, $70 million guaranteed. The 25-year-old had 13.5 sacks last season. The regular season kicks off tonight in Philadelphia with an NFC East matchup. The defending Super Bowl champion Eagles hosting the Cowboys. Kickoff at 7:20 on Thursday Night Football. You can hear Westwood One coverage right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
The Titans will soon head to Denver. In fact, we even have the first Britches report, the first real Britches report of the year. All white. The Stormtrooper look will be what they take the field in. I guess it's not technically the Stormtrooper look, right? Because they have Navy helmets. But, nitpicking there.
Yeah, I guess Stormtrooper would be white helmets, but...
Is it a hot take to say that this is my favorite Titans uniform combo outside of, the Oilers stuff?
I like it a lot.
It's so clean, man. It just looks like a pro football team's uniform.
It's the only non-Oilers uniform they wear that I like. I don't like their uniforms right now.
Blue, the two-tone blue ones are sure they're classics, but the white just looks so clean for me.
And I wish they would bring back the white helmets at some point. I thought that was a better look as they try and lean more into the Columbia blue that they're wearing as their primary home color at this point in time, but we don't have to nitpick the uniform conversation. I do like the Stormtrooper look. It is a good look. They will wear it in Denver in Week 1. Cam Ward will get his first real NFL start against a real NFL defense. In fact, it's an argument to be made that the Broncos could end up being one of the best defenses, if not the best, in football by the end of the year. By the way, since the NFL season starts later this evening, are we carrying that game? Is that Westwood One?
Yes.
We always do.
Look at that.
We will carry that game, and Friday's YouTube debut will also be on The Zone.
YouTube debut. That Brazil game is a YouTube game?
It is a YouTube exclusive.
That's right.
It is only being broadcast on not YouTube TV.
I was just going to ask because I don't have YouTube TV.
So it's free.
So as I understand it, as long as they're not Wimmy diddling us into having to pay some extra money and be like, we got you. You guys waited $2.99, please. But I believe
they're just putting commercials on your red zone to pay for it instead.
Right. Somebody had a great tweet this morning that's like, couldn't you guys just charge more for it? Oh, what a novel concept.
Wow. But yes, from here on out, if there is a National Football League game on during prime time, you will hear it right here on The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One.
How about that?
Sunday will be joined in progress.
So if you're out there
Following
thinking,
Titans Talk Back.
I don't know how the heck to turn this computer on, much less find the YouTube, you can listen to it right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Surely people aren't still having a hard time finding YouTube.
Don't talk about my papaw like that.
No, I remember when they started putting Notre Dame games on Peacock, and the average age of the Notre Dame fan is 75. So that was always going to be a fight as to how you find the Notre Dame games.
I will say sports fans have gotten a lot smarter because when I first got in radio, you would get on game days or days adjacent to game days, so many people calling you, what channel's the game on? What time's the game on?
People calling the radio station.
And you'd be like, it's on ESPN. And it's like, what channel is that? It's like, dude, I don't know. You do not
what
get
provider do you have? I don't know what your cable channels are.
You will get a couple of those calls, but now most people realize that they can just Google these things.
Well, it took us long enough to get there, but we got there. And either way, the Titans will open in Denver in Week 1. So Cam Ward, we are now on a regular schedule with practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The quarterback will speak Wednesday. Yesterday was Cam's day at the podium, and he was asked a variety of different questions. But a couple of different things here that I think are worth talking about before we get into what he is getting ready to face with some Greg Cosell audio is him talking about the dynamic between him and Calvin Ridley. That is something that none of us are concerned, whereas last year it was a big concern that Calvin Ridley and Will Levis didn't quite seem to be on the same page as far as the on-field product. Yeah, there was no reason to believe that there was any kind of lack of a relationship between the two players necessarily, but like we would go out to training camp practice. We would see them miss regularly on deep ball stuff, and we would say, yeah, okay, well, at some point you'd like for them to get there with that, and it just never really got to a point where you could count on Will Levis and Calvin Ridley having a stable connection in a game, and we saw that. That has not been the case for Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley, and Ridley has taken a great deal of this responsibility onto himself to make sure that he is as viable a commodity for Cam Ward as humanly possible. He's FaceTiming Cam before he even gets drafted by the Titans, right? He's opening up his home to Cam Ward when Cam first comes to Tennessee to try and have this kind of big brother type relationship. Cam Ward is referring to himself as Calvin Ridley's sidekick in press conference settings and things like that.
Remember his Fortnite stream?
Oh,
this is so funny. But it was something about his voice when people were asking him, who's the best head coach in the league? Brian Callahan. It's the way he said it when somebody asked, who's the best wide receiver in the league?
Traylon Burks.
Calvin Ridley.
Also, him naming the third string guys. Who's the best running back? Probably Tony Pollard.
Yeah, that man is a Titan.
He's funny. By the way, we didn't get to the clip last night on Primetime, Bert, but this is I guess you didn't do Primetime last night.
I was in there in spirit.
No, you weren't.
I had to be in there so you could play that one video, but that's inside
right.
baseball.
Xavier Restrepo also is a Twitch streamer, and I guess Cam Ward made dinner for some of the skill position players last night.
Made dinner?
Yes.
Oh, what he made?
Cooked?
Yeah, apparently.
Do you know what?
I don't know.
Oh, come on,
It was a clip.
Come on.
Call yourself a journalist.
What are we doing?
Unbelievable.
Now I got to go watch this stream.
No, it wasn't a stream. It was a clip from the stream that was going around. It's Xavier Restrepo coming back into the Twitch stream saying that his sorry guys, I had to take a break. My glorious king, Cam Ward, just made dinner.
That's what he said?
Literally, my glorious king, Cam Ward, is how he kept referring to Cam Ward.
Do you think Cam Ward has played Fortnite again since being drafted?
Without question.
How does he have time? He's there at 5 in the morning. Well, how's he got time to play Fortnite?
Remember, he's there at 5 in the morning, so that means he's up at 4.
Oh, that's enough time to run some duos.
I wish I knew what that meant.
Just exactly what it sounds like. Two people on a team.
Is this how we age? We were unfamiliar with video game parlance and the fact that we have to watch Twitch streams to get news from athletes?
That's by far the biggest disconnect between me and folks that are similar to my age is the video game stuff. I don't get it. None of it.
I'm older than you.
I know. But
that's
we're in the
more an
same
indictment
range.
of you than it is of us.
What do you mean?
Anyway, so I think that the Cam Ward Calvin Ridley connection is something that we all know can be banked upon. Calvin Ridley, or rather Cam Ward, was asked about Calvin Ridley yesterday. This is what the quarterback had to say.
It's gonna be hard to stop Zero. He's one of the best route runners out there. But we got guys, behind him who will make plays in Van, Chim, Elliott, tight end group, Gunn and Chig. So I'm surrounded by playmakers. I just got to do my job, put the ball in their hands, let them catch the ball, and they go do the rest.
And he's been consistent on that message, right? He's said at the podium, not like gratuitously, but yeah, I think we could have a top 5 receiving core by year's end, or I think we have the potential to be a top 10 offense by year's end. Like, he said things like this, and it's just more of the same. Now, how hard is it to stop Calvin Ridley? Because you didn't really have to stop Calvin Ridley last year, right? The Titans offense kind of stopped itself with a lot of the miscues, whether it's the pass protection that was insufficient, whether it's Will Levis and the turnovers. Calvin did have some drops early in the year that he was able to kind of iron out as the season went on. But you never felt like, I don't know, and we could have Cosell at some point talk about this in more informative terms than we are capable of having a conversation like. But you never really felt like defenses had to go out of their way to take Calvin Ridley out of the picture because the Titans offense, you didn't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, not quite. Titans offense just couldn't really get out of the gates at any point last year. What you don't want is to fall into a situation like the Colts game last season, where he's pretty much out of the equation until the fourth quarter, and you're trying to move the ball and you're just force-feeding to him. And he had some drops in that game, and he had some words post-game saying, get me involved earlier, and that was a big talking point that week. I don't think that happens with Cam Ward in this version of the Titans offense. I think Calvin Ridley is involved early. I think that's going to be very intentional. The question is, how much are the Broncos selling out to stop Calvin Ridley? Is Pat Surtain following him around? Is that the kind of yeah? So if that's not the kind of corner that Pat Surtain is, then can the Titans move Calvin Ridley around in a way that schemes him open? Because if he's open, Cam Ward's going to get him the football. Like they had to. I don't know if this is why. There's a myriad of reasons. You don't want to risk injury. You need other receivers to emerge and prove themselves. But like we watched Calvin Ridley in the Bucs game. First game of the preseason, and we're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
That connection's there.
3 receptions, 50 yards, 27-yarder, put him in field goal range or put him in scoring range.
3 of Cam's 5 completions to Calvin in the 2 series he got in Tampa. So, there's not really that level of concern. So we'll see just how much the Broncos go out of their way to remove him from the equation. And then it's just going to be up to insert receiver here. Ellick is just the name that comes to mind because he's a starter for this team.
So why don't we talk more about this Broncos defense? Because Lucas brings up a good question about Pat Surtain and will he follow Calvin Ridley. Greg Cosell has way more information than either of us, and you'll hear a clip from today's episode of The Install with Greg Cosell diagnosing the Broncos defense coming up next. You can get in the game with DraftKings. Week 1 starts now. In fact, it starts tomorrow night with the Eagles and the Cowboys. And every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It isn't just football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. In fact, with this Eagles-Cowboys game on Thursday night, the Eagles are favored at home by 8.5 points. The over-under at 47.5. I am going to go over. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do exactly what Jerry Jones doesn't think they're going to do. I think they're going to run roughshod, literally run roughshod all over Dallas. I think it's going to be a lopsided affair. I will go over 47.5 in the DraftKings Sportsbook app and probably take the Eagles on the money line, even though that's not really a high leverage bet. Feels like a layup, and I need one after that Bill Belichick loss. So DraftKings Sportsbook is where you go. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus grab your grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THEZONE, one word, THEZONE, to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789, 21 plus, Tennessee only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions do apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. So, is the Broncos defense going to be the best defense in the world this season? They've got the pieces and parts. Will they be the best defense in the world in week one? I don't know. There's always some week one weirdness, and the Titans may have some opportunities, but we know they're up against it. So there's no better way to diagnose the Broncos defense than to have Greg Cosell do it for us, to outsource, because he's smarter than we are. And we do now I mean, we do it year-round, but we do the episodes of The Install Thursday morning. Today's episode is up because Robert Walsh worked extra hard this morning, and I appreciate him for it, to make sure that that was up via the podcast and also via the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to 104.5 The Zone on YouTube to make sure that you get each weekly episode of The Install with Greg, where we will preview that week's Titans matchup and also talk about the biggest games of week one, because Greg is also doing the ESPN NFL matchup show for ESPN, and there should be a press release at some point about some other stuff that Greg's going to be doing where you can catch him on a regular basis.
All right, I'll go ahead and announce it. Me and Greg are doing a pod together.
What's it called?
We don't know yet.
That's the name of the podcast?
Yes.
We don't know yet?
Yes. It's just going to be
Somebody should actually do that.
What? we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Pablo Torre finds out. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Just a prediction show.
That's what this show should be called. We don't know yet.
No, it wouldn't be me and Greg talking about football. It would be us going to random restaurants and hitting on bartenders and waitresses and whatnot.
I feel like that's problematic for both of you.
No. See who's got more game. Who's got game?
Greg.
All right, there we go.
Greg
who's
has
got
more
game with Bert and Cosell?
I'm sure, if there's not a podcast called Who's Got Game at this point.
Oh, there has to be a Who's Got Game pod.
Either way, Cosell is good to do the podcast on a regular basis and carry me around for my lack of football knowledge. So we appreciate Greg for providing additional context. So today's topic was obviously the Denver Broncos, and we talked about both sides of the ball specific to matchups. But the thing that Titans fans are probably focused on most is Cam Ward and the ability to go against that Broncos defense. This is Greg Cosell, diagnosing what Cam Ward will see on Sunday at Mile High.
Yeah, and I think that this is a really difficult defense. Now, they clearly do specific things. Their base defense is a 5-2. So they have a 5-man front with two stack backers. You know, obviously many call it a 3-4, but it's a 5-man front. Now, behind that 5-2, they predominantly like to play quarters coverage. Okay, so they played the fourth highest percentage of quarters coverage behind their base defense of any team in the league. So they're predictable in the sense that you know what you're going to get. Doesn't mean it's easy to break down. Now, what this team does, both in their base and in their pressures when they go to their nickel, is they very often line up with 5-man fronts, okay? And what that does is it creates one-on-one matchup, not only for their edge pass rushers, but also for their inside players. And on the inside, they have Zach Allen, they have Franklin Myers. These guys can win one-on-one matchups. But keep one thing in mind. If you're going to rush 5, then you have 6 in coverage. So what they do is they play a lot of sort of zone match concepts. It's, it'll look like man at times, but it's not pure man in a strict sense. It's match. And it's the term that's often used for these kinds of concepts is match, carry, deliver. So you might match in an area, you carry the receiver to a certain point, then you deliver him to another defender who then matches him. So it's really a zone-based principle, but it has man match elements to it. So they do that a lot because they rush 5. And they demand that your offensive line be able to pass protect 101. That's what, so you've got some critical matchups here. You've got Benito, who almost always lines up at right defensive end. He's going to be up against Dan Moore. Okay, that's going to happen. Then you're on the other side, what you're going to get is you're going to get the fact that Cooper, who's a really good pass rusher, is going to go up against Latham. So keep in mind that Cooper lined up on the left side of the defense 89% of his snaps. Benito lined up on the right side on over 75% of the snaps. So those are the matchups that are going to be critical here. And what they do with their fronts, Buck, is they create those 101s.
So that's Greg Cosell. And now we mentioned that Dan Moore did not practice yesterday with an ankle injury, and you heard Cosell saying Nick Benito exclusively lines up on the left side of the offensive line. So that is who Dan Moore, or in a scenario where Dan Moore didn't play, which we don't know, but he's on the injury report. He didn't practice. That's as much information as we have right now. Don't freak out one way or the other. You got a couple of days until Sunday. But Oli Udoh is the backup for Dan Moore, the $82 million left tackle that is here to anchor your blind side. So they are going to try and throw as much stuff as humanly possible at him. And the thing that you feel, if there's going to be something longer term, let's say, or at least that keeps Dan Moore out for Sunday, you do get Lloyd Cushenberry back. And Lloyd Cushenberry, he wasn't there with Vance Joseph, but he knows a lot of the personnel. He knows what they're capable of. And Lloyd Cushenberry being able to hold things down in the middle of the Titans' offensive line and assist Cam Ward in diagnosing what he's seeing in front of him is going to be huge. We've talked to Ben Jones about that. I'm sure that'll be a huge part of our discussion with Ben when he comes back in studio with us on Monday to break down the Week 1 tape. With that, though, Cam Ward, so what is, we're going to do season predictions for the Titans tomorrow. We're going to do season predictions for the NFL at large today. We don't really get into the guess the stat line type of stuff. Cam Ward was asked yesterday if he sets goals for himself, like statistical goals, passing yards, touchdowns, all those kind of things. He's win football games, which is the correct answer 10 times out of 10 for the quarterback. But if Cam Ward has the Caleb Williams season, let's say, statistically, he's 20 touchdowns, he's 6 interceptions, he completes a little north of 62% of his passes.
3,500 yards.
They go 5-12. Is that a reasonable level of expectation to set for Cam Ward with the Titans? Were the Bears a better roster last year with Caleb Williams as the number 1 overall pick? Because there was a lot of talk about Caleb Williams walking into a good situation in Chicago.
They had better weapons, but not, I don't think, a better offensive line, at least on paper. Again, it's just the context matters too much
for sure
to sit here and say, all right, this benchmark of stats, successful season. It's hard to do that.
Right.
But for this game, I think it's interesting to talk about what's the barometer of success. What do we consider a successful outing for Cam Ward individually on Sunday? I get you could just say leading the Titans to a win, however it looks. Sure. But just individually, for just this tiny little portion of the conversation, let's put the scoreboard to the side. Do you know how many times the Broncos allowed more than 20 points in the regular season last year?
I actually don't. That'd be a good stat.
4. Okay. Only 4. And majority of those came later in the season. 5 if you include their playoff loss to the Bills. So this Broncos defense is healthy. They're going to be juiced. They're at home in Week 1. Cam Ward's going to see some stuff that he has literally never seen before. Think about the leap that he's taking from the defenses he was seeing last year to this year. And that's what training camp has been for in the preseason, but even preseason. The stuff that isn't getting thrown at him and getting schemed up at him in these preseason games compared to what Vance Joseph is going to throw at him on Sunday. He's going to be in a blender a couple times. So how do we sit here and measure expectation for Cam this week?
Well, Lucas, I ask you that within the context of Cam Ward's statistical output because Peyton Manning's whole thing his rookie year was he was an interception machine.
Yeah,
right?
Rookie record for
turnovers
interceptions
all over the place. And let's hear from Cam Ward yesterday at the podium talking about the idea of turnovers and not necessarily being worried about them.
I'm not really worried about turnovers. I don't think quarterbacks had a turnover-free season in the NFL, so, I would like to be the first one, but, it's not chances. The odds not in my favor right now, so, I'm not really worried about that. I'm more about, just continue to move the chains on first, second down, trying to stay out of third and long. Then if we get a situation like third and long, got to convert. So, we just got to be good up front, good in my position, good in the running backs and receivers. I think we'll have a good game.
Cam, how old were you the first time you thought about being an NFL quarterback, and what do you think it's going to be like when you walk in the huddle for the first time Sunday as a pro?
I was probably about 6. I knew I was going to go pro or something, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. That's always been a dream of mine. But I'm excited to, get out there in a real game atmosphere, sold out crowd, try to get a win out there.
Hey, Cam, what's your concern with the bakery department?
I'm not really worried about turnovers.
Okay, appreciate it. He's got his eyes on the pies.
I hate you so much.
When I made that joke this morning, Lucas laughed, so I thought I'd give it to you,
It's
too.
a pity laugh.
It wasn't a pity laugh.
No, but it was a different execution.
Also, what is a turnover? What is a turnover? It's a pastry?
Like a cherry turnover, like any kind of, I think it's like a pocket. A turnover is a pocket.
So like a Pop-Tart.
It's like a puff pastry.
Yeah, like a Pop-Tart.
A Pop-Tart is a turnover.
Like a warm Pop-Tart.
Laminated dough with layers of butter that create a flaky texture.
Laminated.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like the wording on it either.
Does laminated just mean seals? I thought laminated was like just the plastic. I didn't know that was actually like a verb.
Why don't you look it up on an Urban Dictionary and we'll circle back.
Like an empanada is essentially a turnover, but with like beef.
Okay, so no empanadas for Cam Ward in Denver, no interceptions, no gratuitous interceptions. But like to his point, there's never been an NFL quarterback in the history of the sport to not throw a pick in a season. So like people saying, well, just don't throw an interception in Denver. Okay, he's going to throw interceptions. Like Cam Ward's style of play is going to lend itself to interceptions. You will have interceptions. If he throws under 10 this year, I'll be stunned.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean, like, I don't foresee Cam Ward having any meltdown moments. Like, I think mentally he's going to be
Not
perfectly ready to approach the moment. He said yesterday that he's asked about what his pregame ritual is, what he's listening to. It's silence.
He puts his headphones on so nobody will talk to him.
Noise canceling. He's sitting there in silence.
And he said he's sitting there thinking about things. Like
Talk about just an assassin mentality. that blew my mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like there's been
how many
athletes
people
who have
do
said
that
before.
I have not heard that
I
yet.
think Joe Burrow is one of these kind of people. But
that
Joe
makes
Burrow
sense.
is famously like he looks like he may kill you if you talk to him on the sideline.
Again, you scoff at this, but it's a real thing.
Who scoffed?
The dog versus the dudeness.
Oh, shut up.
That balance. Cam has it. Burrow has it. How much will it help the Titans on Sunday? I don't know. But it's a thing. Like, it's like a half joke, but it is a thing.
I know what you're saying, but it's like, it's such a, I acknowledge that what you are saying is a thing. The way that you are saying it is ridiculous.
Like Nico, all dudeness, not enough dog. Cam might be that perfect balance.
Taylor H says Cam Ward just raw dogging the pregame.
As the kids say.
Like, if Cam Ward comes out of this game, 15 of 25, let's say, because they're trailing, right? I don't want him to throw more than 20 passes in a game, really, because that means that they're chasing and he's having to make up and they're getting into obvious dropback situations and it's letting the defense tee off on him. If Cam Ward comes out of this thing 15 of 25 with 2 interceptions and they, maybe he doesn't record a touchdown, but Tony Pollard gets one and they're able to kick a field goal, like that wouldn't surprise me. That would probably be pretty standard as far as a box score goes against a defense like this because he's going to put the ball in harm's way. But the best, you're going to live with some of this stuff. The thing that you are banking on is that he doesn't crumble, to your point, when he makes these mistakes the way that his predecessor did. Because what would happen after Will Levis made a bad play, like not just an interception, like an incompletion or something like that, like a missed third down opportunity, like the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah. And again, what situations are the Titans putting Cam Ward in? Is he facing 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5s? Or is he facing 3rd and 12s and 13s, right? So that's all part of the context. And is he just being accurate with the football, right? Like if he's got Calvin Ridley on a crosser who has his defender beat, is he just putting it in a place where Calvin Ridley can get it? Like the most bare, simple stuff. It's not, can Cam Ward get out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on his debut? Like that's probably not going to happen against this defense. But can he keep this offense on schedule? Can he avoid the crippling turnovers? And can he just be accurate with the football and just put it where it's supposed to go? Very expert level analysis here. But I feel like we're looking for pretty base level stuff from Cam Ward against that defense in week 1.
On YouTube, where you can interact with the show, you can call us, by the way, 615-737-1045. The number, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can leave your thoughts, questions, comments, and concerns. In the F&M Bank chat, where TN Berg on YouTube says, I already sense it. The excuses are going to be because the Broncos defense is great. Well, it's not an excuse in that situation. That's an explanation.
There's excuses and there's reasons.
Right. So, and I remember very much, because who was the first quarterback you made excuses for? Either of you in your sports consuming lifetime. Like a quarterback that you defended beyond the point that you should have, and then realized after the fact I probably took that a little too, or kept that going a little longer than I should have. Because for me, it's Mariota. I fought with that because it's the first quarterback that I covered. I'm like, but he's hurt and this, that, and the other, and but the offense, it's not really great. There were so many things that I felt were explanations for Mariota that ultimately became excuses, and I didn't realize where that line was at the time.
I don't know. I feel like I cut bait with people pretty early.
Well,
I was right.
James Prochet throws one interception, and you want him sent to Venezuela.
He was a 6th-round wide receiver. I don't have to like him. But like Baker, I made excuses for Baker, but it ended up being true. So I'm not sure. I made excuses for Lamar, and it ended up being true.
Such a subtle way to say I was right about everything.
Joe Flacco, maybe? But in 2016, everyone was like, oh, Joe Flacco sucks. And it's like he lived long enough to see himself become a hero.
Flacco, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's tough for me. That's tough for me about who
Is there a Vols quarterback, Lucas? Like, surely there's been a quarterback in your lifetime that you have, or a player, like an athlete, that you are a fan of, that you root for, that you made excuses for at some point in your life. Surely to God.
Yeah, no, there definitely is, but...
I know one. Matt Flynn. You remember Matt Flynn? He had
Sure.
like 600 passing yards.
The guy that was supposed to lead the Seahawks to a Super Bowl instead of Russell Wilson.
Right. I still thought he was going to be a great quarterback, even after he got beaten out by a 3rd-round rookie. After they gave him all that money, I was still like, why is no one signing Matt Flynn? Why is Matt Flynn not getting an opportunity? And it's because he sucks. He played on an incredible Packers team with like 900 weapons. Jermichael Finley.
Well, that's what legend, Jermichael Finley. Marcus Mariota is a good one.
Mariota's
for
for sure.
Yeah.
And like I might even argue Tannehill, but like Tannehill's situation was so circumstantial. Like the Bengals game, nobody made an excuse for that. He imploded. But the whole Tannehill existence was, no, he bailed your asses out from having to reset the board in 19.
Malik Willis is another, but those, I think, with what we've seen from Malik last year, can be more maybe reasons than excuses.
Yeah.
I'd probably hung on with Garantano for a minute.
God, what an idiot. Don't laugh at him like that. Look at him. He laughed as soon as you chimed in.
Well, because I just, in my head, imagine Lucas defending him freelancing against Alabama on the goal line.
Right. Well, yeah, that one was tough to defend.
Did you defend that?
Okay, how about a recent one? No, not the Alabama moment. My goodness. That was probably a breaking point. How about Nico? I mean, that's kind of a perfect, because you could just see the talent right there. You could see the way the ball's coming out of his hand and the rolling right throw down the field to Thornton in the Bama game. But if you take a step back and you look at Nico's resume from last season, it wasn't very good. It was underwhelming. But Tennessee fans are all in on Nico's corner until, what happened.
If you would have went to last year, before the season and told your past self, hey, Dante Thornton is the one making Nico look good, not the other way around. Because he won the wide receiver 2 job in I almost said Oakland, in Vegas. Is that something you would have believed at that time? Or would you be like, shut up, there's no way?
This time last year, like after week 1?
Yes.
You were absolutely,
After week 1 last year, I thought, here we go. Offense is back with the way that
Did we go to that game?
No, they played UT Chattanooga in week 1.
Me and Cheyenne went to that game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were at that game. Brandon says on the FNM Bank chat that Garantano was a big recruit. The highly rated ones take longer to let go of. That's very true.
And to your point, that logic applies to Nico Iamaleava. All right, so we will see. Of course, we'll have more preview ahead, obviously, of the Titans in Denver. We'll do a great deal of it with Coach Mack tomorrow. Brett Kern will be in studio. Nate Washington will be on the show. Nate has been touting Alec Iamander the whole way through, and he's very excited to talk about it at 12:20 today. But we do have a football game tonight. Let's talk a little bit about the Cowboys and Eagles coming up next. Financial independence is critical, especially if you are currently not able to be financially independent. It can cause you great stress. You can lose sleep at night as a result, and you just want to be put on the path to success. You want somebody who can help you, and that's exactly what Trajan Wealth is here to do. If you're not feeling the sizzle with your current financial advisor, make sure that you get in touch with Trajan Wealth because they will help you through that process. If you're interested in wealth management that's designed to protect, maintain, and expand your financial portfolio, then Trajan Wealth is your go-to. They understand the importance of tactical investments and tailored insights for growth in line with your level of risk tolerance. So call them today to learn more about these strategies at 615 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000. 2 locations in Brentwood and Franklin, or online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Football. It's back. All of it. High school, college, pro, NFL tonight. Cowboys and Eagles. You can hear it right here on 104.5 The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One's coverage. Dallas is an 8.5-point favorite going to the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Cosell lives in the Philadelphia area. He said they've been tailgating for 5 days. Did you do a game at Philadelphia? Was that the season that you were traveling?
Yes.
How scary was that?
I was there for the A.J. Brown game.
Woo! Famously also the Traylon Burks game.
Yep.
His one receiving touchdown that he got concussed on.
No. His one receiving touchdown came against the
Eagles.
Was not that Packers game?
No.
Wow.
He did have a good game against the
Yeah,
Packers.
Didn't
right.
Derek fumble and then he recovered the fumble in the
That
end
was
zone
against
for
the Bengals at home.
That was a home game.
Yes, so that technically was a touchdown, not a
this
receiving.
This was Traylon's rookie year.
I forgot his.
Because it should have been a penalty. It should have been a targeting penalty, honestly, because he got smashed in the face.
That is so sadly poetic.
Yes.
That his one. That's how Coach Mack put it, right? Smashed in the face.
Literally
it was a
smashed in the
horrific
face.
concussion.
Yeah.
That is one receiving touchdown. He was concussed.
What are you
Man.
What kind of utensils are the two of you eating your taco salads with?
We make do.
What do you mean? That is the biggest fork I've ever. That's not a fork.
It's a 3-pronged salad fork that Robert dug up in the break room kitchen.
I'm less concerned with your salad fork than Robert eating a taco salad with tongs.
It's all we have. We have no forks. We have no spoons. I would have used knives as chopsticks before I would have used these huge salad tongs. But again, we have a job to do, and I'm a professional. And if I'll be damned.
Did you just choke on something while trying to say I'm a professional?
I'm a professional, and I will be damned if the show stops just because I'm a little hungry.
Well, the one thing about the two of you is that the show will not stop just because the two of you are hungry. We will just have to do the show around your food habits. Somebody said of Lucas's salad fork, that's a trident, bro. God. But yeah, Traylon Burks' one receiving touchdown was in that Philadelphia game, the A.J. Brown revenge game. So the link will be rocking. The Eagles fans will be crazy. Micah Parsons, they're not scared of him because he can't hurt them anymore. He's in Green Bay. How big a sigh of relief are you breathing if you are the Eagles offensive coaching staff, knowing that you just spent all this time game planning for Micah Parsons, and then a week before you're like, oh, you're not going to play? Because,
Well, now you got a game plan for Kenny Clark.
Yeah, okay.
How are you supposed to run the ball?
You don't. You throw it. You don't have to worry about Micah Parsons chewing on your quarterback's spine. So you just throw all over them because you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, that's going to be the fascinating thing about how the Eagles go about this. The fact that they have been able to keep that team largely intact and have just kind of turned the defense over more than anything else. That offense, Jordan Mailata and I'm blanking on the grave digger of a right tackle that they've had, Lane Johnson since the dawn of time. Those are two of the best tackles in the sport. But like, even they would need help against Micah Parsons. And now you just can let your tackles be and continue to, use your tight ends, your running backs, your wide receivers, not to keep additional blockers in, but to exploit a Cowboys secondary that's, how would you describe them, Robert, or how did you describe them yesterday when we were talking about Deron Bland and Diggs? Is Diggs playing in this game?
That's a good question. I need to look at the injury report.
We won't have inactives, obviously, for several hours. But Trayvon Diggs was dealing with injury. I don't know what his status is for this game.
He is off the injury report and will play. Expected to play, according to Pelissero.
So these
Pitch count.
These two players are very opportunistic. And so you can take advantage of the Cowboys secondary. You don't even have to make this a Saquon Barkley game. Like, the fact that they have so many options at their disposal is why. I mean, the Eagles are clearly the best team in the NFC still, which is crazy because they're the defending Super Bowl champion and they lost half of their defense this offseason.
What's the spread on this game?
8.5.
8.5. Why do I feel like
Dallas wins?
Yeah, like it doesn't.
It would be the most Jerry
feel like
thing
something
ever.
weird can happen in this game. Like,
it's week one.
Anytime we go, because everything, it's a wave of feeling towards vibes are bad in Dallas. They traded away Micah Parsons. It's not just the Cowboys fan base, by the way. It's players on the Cowboys have to be livid right now.
Pissed.
Yeah, like
they changed all their profile pictures to Micah Parsons.
Yeah, there was
CeeDee
this
Lamb saying
showing
just
of
happens every
solidarity.
time. Just pay the guy what you owe him. Like all these different things.
There's all this feeling of the vibes are bad in Dallas and everybody hates Jerry Jones and they're going to be a worse team because they lost Micah Parsons and here come the Eagles defending champs and the vibes are going to be golden in Philly. And then isn't it just setting up for the Cowboys to, like, what if Saquon Barkley rushes for 39 yards because Kenny Clark is stuffing the run and whoever they have in place of Micah sacks Jalen Hurts 3 times? I'm just like, if we're talking about the funniest possible
Yes,
outcome,
that would be the funniest possible
and
outcome.
then the victory lap Jerry would make after the game would be unbearable.
And then they win 3 games after the fact.
Exactly. Like, why do I just feel like
that one, baby?
Why do I just feel like it's just trending towards
I
something like that?
refuse to believe it.
Week 1's a liar, isn't it? I mean,
it is a liar.
Okay, so the Super Bowl champion always plays the initial kickoff game of the season.
Yes.
Only 5 times since 2002 has that Super Bowl champion not won their opening game.
Who were the 5? Do you have those in front of you?
Yeah, I do have them. Do you want to tell me who the last one not to win is?
the last one to not the Rams.
Correct, in 2022.
That's the Gabe Davis game.
Then you would have to go back 10 years to the Giants. In 2011 with the Green Bay Packers, in 2003 with the Patriots, and in 2002 with the Giants. So the Giants have done this twice, losing their season opener after winning a Super Bowl.
The Giants are such weird champions that way. Like, those Giants seasons had no business winning Super Bowls. And then, Eli Manning just blacks out in a playoff run, and they have one of the best pass rushers in football those years.
Gabe Davis, by the way, back in Buffalo.
Saw that.
He went crazy that game in L.A. a couple years ago.
It kind of needed a guy like that, too. Not to get all – I've been so into week 1 because that's who the Ravens play. But, like, they don't really have a field-stretching guy. Khalil Shakur is a slot receiver. Keon Coleman is like a 50-50 ball guy who can run that. Like, they don't really have a guy who can stretch the field like that. Josh Palmer, but he's also the best route runner on the team.
Yeah.
So that is a huge get for the Bills at this point of the season. And Gabe Davis probably owes a large amount of his salary that the Jaguars gave him to Josh Allen. So I'm assuming he gave him a pay cut to be like, yeah, I'll come back and pay you guys back.
He is on the practice squad.
So it would not surprise me if he is a call-up for this week because of the limited types of receivers they have.
We talked a lot about your Ravens on the podcast today.
Oh, I will have to go back and skim through that. Can you give me a timestamp for when you start so I don't have to listen to... Okay. That's par for the course, though, generally. Yeah, I'll send you a timestamp. It's like 5 minutes
I
off
do
from
it
where...
every time. The fact that you get it wrong is
Every
not my
time.
problem.
He's like, give you a
Every time.
timestamp so I don't have to listen to the podcast.
I hope you choke on your taco salad.
Well, I had to quit. We had an engineer walk in here, and he was
Yeah,
like...
I know. Mike Buckner, our lead engineer, walked in there, saw the two of you just eating all over the millions of dollars of equipment that are sitting in front of you.
Mike knows that I clean this board once a week, so he
true.
is probably allowing me to eat a little taco bowl. Sorry, I got a little choked up on an olive there.
I feel like, an olive in a taco bowl would be good.
Ooh, black olives. They are good.
You didn't give me black olives.
Think as he digs through with his
I
trident.
don't have any olives.
I think you just didn't notice it because of the massive amount of food you can fit on that fork. See, I definitely got the short end of the stick. I think I'm going to have to retire these tongs and just eat with my manos. Isn't that hands?
Yes.
Oh, okay, nice.
I think that a lot of people are going to get fooled into taking the Cowboys plus 8.5 because of the logic that you just gave. Not just because of what you just said, but because they'll also be thinking that, this will be the game that the Cowboys win, and then they won't win very much after that, and then lose
the Eagles just smack them.
Just smoke them. Because, theoretically, the Cowboys should be a good offense, right?
Theoretically.
So, I don't know. There may be some opportunities to take advantage of a new Eagles defense, but again, it's Vic Fangio on the other side.
Who's the number 1 running back in Dallas?
Ooh, that's a good question. Robert, you know this?
Yeah, Javonte Williams.
Is that the former Broncos running back?
They have it is the island of misfit toys for the running back
backfield?
room. It is Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and
Miles Sanders.
And Jaden Blue. Is that the other guy? Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, Javonte Williams was with the Broncos until now.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing what that looks like tonight. In the meantime, we will get into our NFL season predictions. We'll do Titans season predictions tomorrow, but we will do our NFL season predictions. We'll be joined by Nate Washington, all in the final hour, plus your phone calls coming up next.
12 o'clock, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The first Titans injury report of the regular season came out Wednesday. Left tackle Dan Moore Jr. did not practice with an ankle injury. L'Jarius Sneed and Kevin Winston Jr. were limited. Lloyd Cushenberry and Tavondre Sweat were full participants. Titans play the Broncos on Sunday, and the Broncos have extended pass rusher Nick Bonito on a 4-year deal worth $120 million with $70 million in guaranteed money. The 25-year-old had 13.5 sacks last season. The regular season kicks off tonight in Philly, an NFC East matchup. The defending champion Eagles hosting the Cowboys. Kickoff at 7:20, and you can hear, of course, Westwood One coverage right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us. Nate Washington will be here soon, but it is the NFL season kickoff tonight. It is the Eagles. It is the Cowboys. Will Dallas do the unthinkable? Will Jerry Jones be vindicated, at least for a night, and win as an 8.5-point underdog? We will see. You can hear that game on Westwood One right here on 104.5 The Zone. Wherever you are hanging out, we are here with you for one more hour between Lucas, Robert, and me, 615-737-1045. But as is the custom, we will do our NFL league-wide predictions today. So what we will do is we are going to pick division winners, we are going to pick Super Bowl participants, and we will pick our NFL MVP and rookies of the year. So that's an offensive rookie of the year. Did you guys pick defensive rookies of the year, or did you just pick a rookie of the year? Because the NFL technically does both.
I did O&D.
We did both.
Okay, very good. You can interact with the show, as I mentioned, F&M Bank Chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and also call us if you would like. Who wants to start?
Robert?
What do we want to start with?
With the AFC North?
I'd like to paint a picture for you guys. I'm not like most people where they play on Madden and they're like, oh, yeah, 17-0, and we won the Super Bowl. Hell yeah, that's what I want. I like to prove yourself. I like to work for it. So if I'm painting this picture that'll eventually come out, I'll tell you more about it in the Super Bowl. I do not think the Ravens repeat as AFC North champions. I think there is some adversity, and I think the Bengals do not face as much adversity. They don't have as many close games. I think the Bengals end up winning the AFC North.
Okay.
I also have the Bengals.
Come on.
Winning
you
the
don't
AFC
mean
North.
that. I'm trying to be modest, and you're trying to rub my nose in it.
I don't think this Bengals defense can go from worst to first. But I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last year. I think they're going to level out with Al Golden in there as the defensive coordinator. And I think Joe Burrow is in for another monster year. And I think the Bengals win the AFC North as well.
I'm picking your Ravens.
Thank God. Somebody had to. It just couldn't be me.
Well, I mean, you're going to have them in the Super Bowl, so.
Yeah, well, be that as it may.
I just don't think they were the best offense in football last year. There's no reason that they shouldn't be the best offense in football again.
Retained.
I think they're excellent.
10 of their 11 I guess you could say 9 of their 11 starters. Nelson Aguilar left. They brought DeAndre Hopkins in. Patrick McCary left. They're starting a rookie draft pick.
I think that is the best team in football. The best offense in football, rather. Let me say. I don't think there's a better offense anywhere in the sport than Baltimore's. I think their quarterback is the best quarterback in the sport. I think Derrick Henry is still the best running back in football. And I think, I don't know what Hopkins is going to do as their 3, but that skill group is awesome. Todd Monken is great. There is no reason that the Baltimore Ravens shouldn't win the division and have a deep playoff run unless the unthinkable happens, which is another Mark Andrews drop on the goal line or something like that. Like some ungodly, unfortunate, doesn't happen in 9 other scenarios, but in that one it did type of situation. The Ravens should have more playoff success with this current configuration than they have had, and I don't see there any reason for them to not do it this year.
God, I hate that you're rooting for them.
The Ravens?
Yeah, it means that we're going to lose.
Well, I'm rooting for Derek.
Okay, cool.
Like, I'm genuinely rooting for Derek and DeAndre Hopkins. I like both of them a lot. DeAndre Hopkins is probably my favorite athlete I've ever covered.
We're all on the Bills to win the AFC East, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Although Vegas really likes the Patriots.
That's nuts. That is insane to me.
I know, but
How about the AFC West?
all right, Chiefs. Chalk. Bert?
Yeah, I'll go Chiefs. If I was going to press it, I would say that the Chargers win it the same way the Ravens won it with Greg Roman, where they get up early and they can beat teams into submission and play the numbers game where it's like, okay, they only have this much time left. I think the Chargers come in second and probably still have two teams coming out of this division going to the playoffs, but I got to go chalk and go with the Chiefs.
I'm going Broncos.
Okay.
I'm riding.
Really?
I'm riding.
There's a lot of Broncos hype.
I'm buying into the Broncos hype this offseason. At some point, like the Chiefs, this is me going against the most inevitable team in the NFL. And the Chiefs won 15 games last year, but the close calls that seem to all break in favor of the Chiefs.
The things that go against the Ravens go for the Chiefs.
The blocked field goal in Denver, the weird whistle from the ether against the Raiders at the end of that game when they were in field goal range, potentially kick a game-winning field goal. I think those things break a little more against the Chiefs this year than they did last year. They are also without Rashee Rice for the first, 6 games of the season?
That's correct.
If I'm not mistaken. And I'm buying into the Broncos hype. I think they win the division.
Wow. Bo Nix. A guy who at Auburn wouldn't have even been a draft pick.
Yep.
A guy who is already able to get an AARP card.
At some point, someone other than the Kansas City Chiefs has to win the division.
I feel like they're like this is the year they won a record 15 games last year, and they still feel like they underachieved. Like I feel like they're going to come back out this year and just shell people.
I will say that has it not ever felt like there is more parity in that division than there is this year? Like I could even listen to an argument about the Raiders could beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, just making life difficult.
Oh yeah,
right.
Split the series for sure.
Where it's not just such a simple.
They were doing it
Chiefs
with
are
worse
going to walk
teams before.
everybody.
They've done that.
Again, they were a couple plays away from losing to the Raiders at home last season.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. Isn't that the impetus 2 years ago when their defense was so bad they lost to the Raiders and then went on that big winning streak going into the playoffs?
AFC South.
I grappled with this one.
I really struggled too.
I'm having a hard time, but
Well, it's really between two for me.
I think it's very easy.
All right, go ahead.
I think the Jaguars win the AFC South.
easy, he says.
I think it is easy.
I agree with him. I picked the Jags. I think that if Liam Cohen can figure it out with Will Levis, with Trevor, with Baker Mayfield, who Baker is obviously a better NFL quarterback than Will is, but Liam Cohen has figured out with way less talented football players than Trevor damn Lawrence. And if Trevor Lawrence doesn't figure it out this year, then there is no hope, right? This is the end all be all for Trevor Lawrence. Houston is not a better football. They're not a better offense. I think their pass rush is going to be better, which is going to be a problem. But I think Houston is still fraught. We were all very quick to crown C.J. Stroud because he was great. And he may still end up being great, but not behind that offensive line.
Yeah, that's my biggest question.
I can't in good conscience pick the Colts to do anything there with Daniel Jones at quarterback. That would be disingenuous, even though I think, who was on? I think Fitzy was making the case for the Colts to win the division, wasn't he? A couple weeks ago? Maybe his most recent appearance with us? I can't remember exactly. None of us, I would probably pick the Titans fourth this year, given the circumstance that because they're still the worst roster in the division.
And I don't think that's an indictment on them. I think they've done an incredible job bringing this team from light years ahead of where it was last year, but they're still the worst team in the division talent-wise. That's not a slight.
Lucas?
I'm going with the Texans.
Okay.
I'm just
because
once Trevor Lawrence shows it, then I'll believe it when I see it. But there are concerns there about that offensive line.
But he'll pick the Broncos to upset the Chiefs in the AFC West.
I don't hate it.
The Broncos have shown us something.
Yeah.
They've shown us that progress, and it's Sean Payton. Liam Cohen absolutely deserves all of the credit for what he's done with quarterbacks. He's also a first-time head coach. What's going to happen with Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball?
And they've got first-time coordinators all over the place. Their GM is a first. It's all the things that compounded the Titans'
Their
problems
GM
last
is a
year.
first-time homeowner. He's like,
That's what I'm saying. He's barely older than we are.
He's a small child.
Yeah, like I know so much more about the Broncos than I do the Jags.
I just feel like so many of these are going to be chalky, and I wanted to put in a couple get-in-early tickets. You know, this is a gamble.
There's going to be a lot of chalk.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put in a couple get-in-early tickets.
All right, NFC North is an interesting division here, and I think we should start there because I am fascinated to see what happens in Chicago this year, but I'm picking the Packers.
Yeah, me too.
I'm picking the Vikings.
Sight unseen.
Sight unseen with J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
If it's good enough for Kevin, it's good enough for me.
Fair enough.
I like the way they've got the team
A
built.
lot of people are doing that, by the way. If it's good enough for Kevin O'Connell, who seems to have this figured out.
I will defer to someone who is notably smarter than his peers at something. Is it also a hot take to think the Lions come in last in this division this year? I think brain drain is a lot to overcome, man.
You can see it. Aiden Hutchinson back.
There are plenty of good head coaches who crater because of their coordinators.
Yeah.
And like they were able to get
Happen here.
They have so many talented options on offense, and they were able to facilitate all those options because Ben Johnson is a mad scientist. Can someone else juggle all of those balls in the air at the same time and make it fluid? I don't know. That is my question.
But the other thing is, like, Caleb Williams, like, that's a very – Cosell, that was another game that we talked about because that's the Monday night opener. It's Vikings and Bears. And, like, that is such a very specific, hyper, finely tuned offense that he's running in Detroit that Caleb Williams now has to handle all of it. It's gonna be interesting there.
God,
I'm
that'll
going
be a
Packers.
great Monday game.
I think Micah Parsons pushes the Packers over the top. Although I'm still Jordan Love. I feel like everybody's just trying to will every year, trying to will Jordan Love.
Last year I picked him to win MVP
into being an MVP
and then he goes
candidate.
to Brazil and he blows his ankle out the first week. All right, the NFC East, which was won by the defending Super Bowl champions, but the Washington Commanders are going to be a frisky pick. This is also a division that is populated by the Dallas Cowboys and the lowly New York Giants. Is anybody going to pick a team? Is anybody interested in the Giants or the Cowboys to win the NFC East before we pick chalk?
God, we would have to have a terrible, terrible situation in the league where
like Jaden Daniels would have to like be done for the season early.
His mom would have to ground him for the season for taking a girl on a date or something
without telling her.
Yeah,
or without inviting her, right?
Yeah, how did I not get to do the interview process? I would go super chalky. I'm going to go Eagles.
Yeah, same.
I need to see it another year. The whole Cliff Kingsbury, he's found out now.
So we're all three in on the Bills in the AFC East and the Eagles in the NFC East.
I think Nick Sirianni is getting set to be on a roll where the Eagles are at or near the top of the NFC year in and year out until somebody else really consistently emerges.
I mean, they need Howie to have a generational bad run, and even then that would take a couple of years for them to fall out the way that it did here.
Stop signing all your good offensive linemen in contracts. Sign some other people that are bad. Help us out.
NFC West. I'm picking the Seahawks.
I don't hate that.
I think Matt Stafford is a house of cards.
Yeah, that's what I worry about Stafford.
The 49ers are already injured, and they just came off a season where they were wretchedly injured. How old is Trent Williams?
35?
He can't keep getting away with this, right? Like
he might be older than that.
I think he is. I think he's closer to 40.
He's 37.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
It's coming. The fall is coming, okay, for San Fran. And it may have already happened last year, but, I think we are in a cycle where Mike McDonald is the only first-year head coach last year to win at a reasonable record. 10-7 were the Seahawks last year. And I don't think they're better at quarterback. But I think their offensive line is better. I think their offensive coordinator situation is more viable for what they're trying to do after the Ben Grubb thing didn't work out. Ryan Grubb. Ben Grubb is a Ravens guard?
Yeah. Well, I think more Saints fans would know him. But, yes, unfortunate they couldn't retain him.
So I am picking the Seattle Seahawks to win that. Nobody interested in the Cardinals.
I am interested in the Cardinals.
I am interested in them, but
I want them to be good, but it's like, can you trust Kyler's health? Yeah. Can you trust their weird-ass Jonathan Gannon coach?
Is there a player that's been in the league for as long as Kyler has that people just have no idea about? Kyler Murray is such a unicorn that way.
And Call of Duty's getting a massive update.
Trevor hasn't been in the league as long, but...
but at least I feel like I know that Trevor Lawrence is currently bad. I don't know if Kyler Murray's bad.
That team, you got to think, will get blown up, too. If they don't make the playoffs, don't have a winning record, don't show something more than, 7-10. You got to think Gannon's on their street.
I wanted an excuse. I wanted to not pick the Rams. Because I'm with you on the Matt Stafford thing. It just reeks of that just starting to go downhill. The back stuff in training camp. But then I started going through in my head, and I think the Rams have the best roster in the division. They're certainly the best defense in the division. They were that close to a Super Bowl appearance last year. I'm just going to go with the Rams.
So, Robert, your pick is?
I hate when you make sense, man. I would love to be able to say the Cardinals, but my gut says the Seahawks.
Okay. Are we all on the Bucs to win the NFC South?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even come up with an excuse to pick the Falcons.
MVP?
Robert? Okay, fine. I'll do it for you, Lamar.
No, if
the
Bengals win the division, Joe Burrow will be the MVP. They want to give it to him so bad. I think
all three of us are in on the AFC North.
I think he is the betting favorite for MVP of this upcoming year. I believe so. I would need to double check that, but I'm probably going to go Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'm going Burrow too.
Sans another injury that puts him back. And even when he got injured last year, at the beginning of the year,
Lamar is actually the betting favorite.
Lamar, I mean,
then Josh Allen.
He's
then
the best
Mahomes,
quarterback in the sport.
Burrow.
Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in football.
All right,
you will not convince me otherwise. No. It's not gassing him up. He's excellent.
Stop it.
But we're all going Burrow. Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm going Lamar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Ashton Genty.
The first ever special teams offensive.
Oh.
Tyler Loop of the Baltimore Ravens.
Shut up.
Nah, I'm going to go. You went Genty, but I thought you liked Marion Hampton. I thought you were.
But Najee Harris is back. He's just wearing those weird sunglasses.
Oh, that don't matter. Najee Harris is.
Who else is going to carry the ball in Vegas? They're just going to run. Chip Kelly wants to run him into the ground.
Right, but I also think there's an option where they just aren't able to run it. Like they tried the same thing with Zamir White and who's the cat? Sincere McCormick last year on there. Also island of irrelevancy.
What I would do if I was allowed to bet on this stuff is I would bet Omarion Hampton and cash out. Like I wouldn't ride it out all the way through.
Yeah, because they're going to be a good team. You're going to get a good cash out option.
If I was allowed to bet on the NFL, that is how I would strategize.
I'm going to go off the board and go Tetero and McMillan. I think that he is a true wide receiver one. I think they haven't had that. Legette is going to go play the big slot.
What about Emeka Egbuka? If you're going to go wide receiver.
I just think that there are too many barriers of entry for him to get the work required to be offensive rookie of the year. You got Mike Evans.
They're all over the place.
You've got a true pass catching back. You've got a Chris Godwin who they paid a buttload of money for him just to come back and be hurt if they're not going to use him. Like there are just too many other cats there that I think are trying to get fed. So I'm going to go Tetero and McMillan. We'll see how much he loves football.
Go ahead, Homer.
I really want to do the Homer pick, but I'm going with Genty too.
Yeah.
He's just going to get such a big workload there, and he's got a better situation. I am going to keep it in the AFC South. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going with Travis Hunter, or the Defensive Rookie of the Year, because I fear that the thing that happened with Travis Hunter in college with the Biletnikoff, where he was not the best wide receiver. He was the best football player. He wasn't the best wide receiver in college football, but we gave it to him because he's doing stuff we've never seen. If Travis Hunter has a decent year of receiver and plays half the snaps on defense, I feel like we're going to give him Defensive Rookie of the Year because we've never seen it before.
Oh, my God. There probably is a world we could live in where he wins both, right?
I mean, how much would the NFL love that?
I mean, if he had an average year, like I'd say 900 receiving, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks, and X number of pass deflections, I think voters would convince themselves that he is both because he did both, I think. But
Defensive Rookie of the Year is interesting this year because, like, it's impossible for me to not just go chalk and say Abdul Carter. Like, who is going to put up the most statistics? He's going to be in a defense where he's going to be able to clean up some sacks too. Like, Abdul Carter is. I know it's lazy, but I think if I want to win by percentage chance, it's Abdul Carter.
I'm going to go Mike Green.
He's got decent odds here.
Really?
He's got. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. He's plus 1,200.
The reason I don't like Abdul Carter is the same reason I don't like Emeka Egbuka, where his stats can be flushed because Brian Burns, like all the other defensive players who can get where he's going to get maybe a half sack. The numbers may not look as flashy. The Ravens have not had a bendy outside pass rush like this since Elvis Dumervil. So they will find ways on passing downs, especially if the Ravens are up in a lot of games. I don't think that the Giants will be up in enough games that there will be a bunch of pass rushing opportunities late in games for Abdul Carter. I do think that the Ravens will be up and there will be pass rush opportunities for Mike Green. So I'll go Mike Green for the odds.
There is a picture of him like bending the corner where I swear to God, he is almost completely parallel with the ground.
It's like some Michael Jackson
It
stuff.
looks, I thought it was fake. I thought it was AI. Like I thought I was getting got by the internet.
They have him on an
I thought
ankle.
he broke his ankle.
They have him on an ankle program because they were so worried that his ankles were not thick enough.
Lucas, I'm telling you, look up this picture
I
and
know
tell me
it's-
this is
I've
not the
seen
most
it.
ridiculous thing you've ever seen.
All right, Super Bowl.
participants. I am going Ravens in the AFC, and I'm going Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And
in
who
the
wins?
AFC. I'll take Baltimore.
That's exactly what I have.
Bucks?
Yeah.
Really?
Ravens over Bucks. Yeah.
Turn me on.
And I did not have the Ravens winning the division. I think they pull the 2020 Bucks route.
They go on the Brady
Going
run?
all the way, the wild card team, all the way to the Super Bowl. I think the Bucks just
Are we
find
a
their way
Ravens
to the.
show? In your Ray Rice jersey
I don't
you're
like
wearing
them.
today?
I don't like them, but I'm picking them.
Oh, I do.
Listen, I want the 2012 playoff run again.
That was one of the most fun playoff runs of any team that I can remember. Like the Brady Bucks were fun, but it was COVID.
Like wild card weekend, we start and we play a tough, like Houston, Chargers, whoever the wild card would be. Then I want Patrick Mahomes in the divisional. I want Josh Allen in the AFC champion. No. I want a combination of Burrow, Mahomes, Allen. I want to play all three of them in the AFC side of the playoffs.
All right, so we're who's your Super Bowl pick?
The Panthers. I'm going to go the Vikings. I think the Vikings get it done.
Big J.J. McCarthy guy.
Over? Oh, your Ravens.
Oh, not over. No, hold on. Scratch that. Not over.
Okay.
The Vikings don't go over.
Okay.
Wait.
The Ravens and the Super Bowl.
So
what are you
it's
talking
Ravens,
about?
Vikings.
So you're saying Ravens beat the Vikings?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. The better purple, dude. Come on.
All right, Nate Washington is in the Zoom. Let him in. He just texted me. No, we're going to stay here. We're just going to do a long segment. That was Robert's idea. So that I will tweet the show's season predictions from my account here in just a second. Nate Washington, is Nate there? You let me know when Nate's there. Nate is there. Okay, Nate Washington. What do you mean not yet?
He is getting in, but he's not ready.
Okay. Well, you let me know when Nate is ready, and we will move forward with that because I'm very interested to see what he thinks of our season predictions.
And we all picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl.
I mean, at some point, like Lucas, who is better equipped to win the Super Bowl than the Baltimore Ravens?
I mean, the Bills are up there, but
he doesn't have as much help as Lamar does. Like Lamar is excellent and also has as much help as anybody. I mean,
whose receiver room is better?
So is Zay Flowers,
Rashad Bateman,
and DeAndre Hopkins
versus
like Joe Burrow,
Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, and Joe Burrow has the best receiver room.
No, for sure. Between the Bills and the Ravens, it's the Ravens. Zay Flowers is a better receiver than anybody on the Bills. The tight ends are better than anybody on the Bills.
Didn't you say that you'd rather have NWI than Zay Flowers at one point?
Probably.
Pretty sure that was a thing last year.
I'm sure we could find it. We
snip snap.
If I wasn't already concerned about Robert's workload, I would make him go back and find the most ridiculous things that we said on the show and run them back at the end of the year. But we will save that for another day. But in the meantime, we will take a break, and Nate Washington will join us, and we will get his insights on the Titans and the Broncos coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Nate Washington joins us for his weekly segment, and he's been touting his own correct prediction, rightfully so, at NWash85, about Alec Iamaleava, who is going to be a starting wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans alongside Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett when this team opens up in Denver in just a few days from now. Nate joins us on the show. Good to see you, buddy. How excited are you for Alec? I mean, that's a huge responsibility no matter what your draft pedigree is. But, I mean, to your point, he's clearly earned it in the eyes of the coaching staff and developed a good enough rapport with the quarterback, it seems.
Of course, and obviously the potential is there as well. We've seen him put in the work during training camp. As the coaching staff has stated, he's definitely earned his position. And, I think, personally, just looking at his tools, you see a guy that's stated at 6'2" and 206 pounds, that size, that's what you want on the other side of Calvin Ridley. That's what you want, to be your number 2 guy out there, to be able to produce some size and matchups for the other team, So I'm looking forward to it. Not only his ability to get in and out of his breaks, but his speed. His speed has definitely been something that I've been watching, and I'm looking at him able to transfer that to Sunday's opportunity with him being able to start.
Brian Callahan said, he's just a powerful route runner in the middle of all of that as well. And he had drops, Nate, coming out of college. But I just, and this is an untrained perspective, but I felt he was being so force-fed in that Stanford offense because he's the only viable receiving option. So they just kept going to him and going to him and going to him, no matter if the matchup was advantageous or not. And that's not really, we've not had a conversation about Alec Iamaleava having drops in training camp or the preseason, right, Lucas? That's not really been.
No, it's not been part of the discussion at all.
A talking point.
Oh, man, my first year in Tennessee, the media was having conversations about drops. So, I mean, for me, it really doesn't matter, man. You look at the tools, you look at the speed, the ability to get in and out of breaks. Obviously, if drops are frequent, then you definitely pay attention to those things. But I don't think this is that situation. As you stated, he's coming from a highly potential offense that was targeting him often just to get him the rock, for some potential offense for that team. So he was stuck in a difficult position, never an excuse to drop the ball, but I think the situation's changed here. You're looking at a guy now that his targets will go down. He won't be asked to do as much just to be reliable. And I think he's capable of doing so. I think he's able to get in and out, these breaks and give this quarterback an opportunity with some passing game for this team.
Nate Washington, former Titans wide receiver, here with us on 104.5 The Zone, getting us ready for the Broncos and the Titans on Sunday.
Well, quite the introduction to the NFL, Nate, for Cameron Ward to go up against this Broncos defense, that Broncos pass rush that just paid Nick Bonito a lot that's going to be thrown at him that he's just never seen before from Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator. How can the Titans, whether it's Brian Callahan and the coaching staff and how they go about things, whether it's the players in front of them, what is the best way for the Titans to take some of that pressure off of Cam Ward in this game, in your mind?
Well, obviously, like I stated in the preseason, I'm hoping that we can establish the run. This is a Titans offense that is going to be young in a couple of positions that need to be reliable. And starting with the quarterback, you don't want to throw him in the fire as quick. And the best way you do that is establish your run game. You get your running backs going, you get your offensive line comfortable moving forward. And then they'll get, in a situation where they'll be a little more comfortable dropping back and moving in reverse. But as of right now, you want to start this game off establishing a run game, coming out and getting Pollard running, coming out and getting the other running backs an opportunity to make some plays. And then hopefully we can hit some play action shots from there. I think there's an opportunity, obviously in the passing game, but, with this pass rush, you're going to have to get it out quick. And I think that's going to be the thing early. Getting the ball out quick, making sure you establish in the run game and seeing what you can build off of from there.
Nate, can you take us kind of into a behind-the-scenes look at playing at Mile High Stadium? How much of a focal point is it? All right, that reaction kind of tells us everything we need to know. What is it actually like to play an NFL game at Mile High Stadium with how much is made of the altitude?
It's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really tough. It stands out. Even in pregame warm-up, you have to really conserve not only your energy but your emotions. Obviously, a lot of times you get overly emotional, that energy starts to drain a little quick. But up there, it's a little harder to breathe. It's definitely something that stands out as a player, but something that you can definitely survive. It's nothing that should set you back too much. It's just something that you have to acknowledge. You're not going to be able to go out and play in Denver like you're playing in Nashville. You're going to have to make sure that you're conserving your energy, conserving your win, and making sure you're doing everything possible to prepare for the next play.
I am so curious to see what Vance Joseph, their defensive coordinator, Nate, is going to do, because we've talked about this. It's Calvin Ridley, it's Tony Pollard. Those are the only two known commodities that this Titans offense has on offer. And with Pat Surtain, who doesn't typically stick with one receiver in his responsibilities, he doesn't necessarily stay glued to any one player that way. What do you make of Surtain, and what a corner like that, a lockdown corner, a reigning defensive player of the year, when you're facing an opposing defense like that, and you know that dude can just take out one side of the field, how much more difficult does that make your job, and how much easier is the life of the play caller in that situation, knowing how much more of that playbook that it frees up?
Well, I kind of commented on this when we mentioned it in preseason, that Calvin was going to need to be put in different positions. I feel like throughout this whole season, not just with facing the Broncos and Pat Surtain Jr., but in this situation, in this offense of, as you stated, him and Tony being the focal points, there's definitely going to have to be some situations aligned for him to switch up his matchups by alignment, maybe being the number 3 and not always being the number 1, or being in the slot sometime, and those type of things and motions, and trying to get a read on man or coverage or zone coverage, and those type of things will help. But in this type of situation, you're definitely looking at a team, in the Titans that are excited about establishing some new tools. Hopefully Chad can get going and establish himself this year and solidify his position as a veteran on this team that's had potential for quite some years, that we've expected to turn the corner. But you're also looking at a young Gunnar Helm, and I've been seeing a lot of exciting things from him. So you always get in some young guys that are able to, surprise the first couple of weeks, those teams that weren't expecting them to play big and come out and do some good things for your organization. And hopefully we have some young guys in those positions that are, prepared and for their opportunity, because I'm sure they'll come around. I think in Vic Fangio's defense, as I stated, it's a defense that's going to be pressure high. The front seven is going to make sure they get to the quarterback, so he's going to have to make sure he's getting the ball out of his hands quick. And otherwise, on the other side of Patrick Surtain, you're going to have some opportunities. You have a young, unproven guy in the Moss kid. And I think it's just an opportunity for these young guys, as I stated, to come out and establish themselves in the National Football League.
When you're getting ready to go against a defense and you see the level of pressure that an opposing defensive coordinator is comfortable sending at you, how much are we going to learn about the Titans based on how much, or really, Nate, how little Denard Wilson might pressure the Broncos, the Titans defensive coordinator, how much he might be comfortable pressuring the Broncos based on a secondary that has L'Jarius Sneed, theoretically, and Roger McCreary and Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the 5th-round pick from last year, because I feel like we're going to learn a lot about how comfortable Denard is with this Titans defensive back group based on how often or how not often he's sending that pressure.
Well, I think it all depends really on his philosophy. I think a lot of defensive coordinators, they are really more so, this is what we do. You're going to have to stop us. And I know Denard likes to send pressure. I know he's very inducive with a lot of his front seven packages. And I think, we're really stuck in a state of unknown to me, in my personal opinion, because we've seen a lot from Snead preparing for this upcoming season, but we didn't see too much of him in the packages last year. You know, there was a lot of unfortunate injuries, and I'm just looking forward to the full defense put together. You know, I was excited about what I seen from Cedric Gray in the preseason. I thought he really stood out from the defense here in the preseason, and I'm actually glad that he's able to get the opportunity to start in this defense. I think he'll bring a lot of downhill, impactful, run-stopping plays, and I think that's going to help this defense. So to see them all together, to see them gel, to see them form what Denard has as his philosophy, whether it's going to be a blitz or whether it's going to be a playoff of package, whatever he's faced in the Denver Broncos, and adjusting from there, I think it's more so me just seeing this team finally gel together, all playing together, expecting good, expecting bad. There's going to be some mistakes, as I stated, from them not being able to play together for the duration and coming off of a season, but having an expectation or an understanding of the expectation of Denard's philosophy should be great.
Nate Washington with us. Nate, you're repping the Titans here on 104.5 The Zone TV. I know you're going to be locked in on Sunday, but I'd be remiss not to ask you about the place where you started your career in Pittsburgh, that Week 1 matchup against the Jets. What are the vibes right now? What is your expectation level for the Aaron Rodgers experience with the Steelers?
It's going to be interesting. You know, I have a lot of good and bad feelings about this, you know, to be honest, personally. Hopefully he goes out there and kills it. You know, hopefully he does exactly what we feel that he can do and take us to the playoffs as a Steeler Nation and, you know, take us back to the promised land of the Lombardi if that's possible, or even just get us close, you know, and play some good football. But also, as we know, you know, there's the side that, you know, may not be too attractive to fans. You know, if there's a situation where the focus doesn't seem right in winning and focusing on team and playing better, then I'm pretty sure not only I, but the whole fan base will be suspect of even bringing him in and not investing in to the future as we should have during the draft. But we'll see how things go. I'm looking forward toward the opportunity of him going back and playing against the Jets in his first game. You know, I'm pretty sure that he may not comment on it personally, but being a player and going back and playing against a team that you once had some connection to, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to play lights out. So I'm looking for a good game from him. I'm looking for an exciting game for this new defense that we have, and we'll just see how it goes, you know. But I think both teams are kind of in a situation where we have a lot of new toys that have finally settled in and looking forward to the opportunity and seeing it all click and work together. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Steelers face the Jets on Sunday.
It's nothing personal, Nate, but I hope he sucks. I hope he sucks. I hope he's terrible.
I'm not mad at you. I get it, but
oh God, he bothers the hell out of me, Nate. I don't want to see that man have football success. Nothing personal. I don't wish any actual harm to befall him, but God, I can't stand him.
I get it, man.
Get it. Buddy, it's good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Next week, we'll have an actual football game to talk about with you as opposed to previewing these things. And obviously, we'll look forward to week 2 as well with you. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate being with you guys, man.
That's Nate Washington. At NWash85 is where you go. He is always he's always tweeting through something. And he's very quick to give his opinions on a lot of different things. But I think Nate's got some really good insights there. So, last call for phone calls. If you got them, we'll wrap things up coming up next. Yes. Football. Football. We are excited. Thursday night football. Eagles. Cowboys. No Micah Parsons. Defending Super Bowl champion. Will Jalen Hurts come out and shell the Cowboys? Will Jerry Jones be vindicated tonight? It is all ahead of us on Thursday night football. You can hear it on 104.5 The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One's coverage. 8.5-point underdogs are the Dallas Cowboys heading to a divisional rival. There's divisional games all over the place in week 1. Have you all looked at the schedule?
It's like Bengals, Browns.
There's a divisional game in Brazil.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, I'm nothing against your one of your countries.
No, believe me. You know me. I hate the international games. No one in Brazil cares, and I don't think NFL players want to be doing that.
Did you see how the Chargers kind of shafted their season ticket holders, where they did not say before that tickets for this Brazil game would be included in their home games, but when they asked for a refund, they would not give it. So basically, they charged them for 8 home game tickets, and then one of their home games is the Brazil game, which they don't get a ticket for.
Yeah.
And
well, one of their 9. Is it a 9 home game or 8 home game?
Who knows? I don't know. They shafted them.
Wasn't there a lawsuit?
Yes, they are suing them. I think it's ongoing. But the Chargers basically like, yep, you're not going to get that back. Sorry.
Yeah, whoops.
You guys split a stadium. You cheapos. Come on. You can give them back some money for a non-home game.
Have the NFL franchise valuations come out for the year yet? Is that out there? Because I'd be curious to know what the Titans are valued at. If they're still like dregs of the league type of situation, or if just the idea of the stadium has pushed up their net worth. Out of curiosity, because I wonder where they are, like relative to the lesser organizations, because they are one of them, but like relative to the Chargers, the Raiders have never been a cash flush organization, but that stadium has made a huge difference for Mark Davis. Anyway, are we picking who's going to win tonight? I mean, I guess I would not. I just could not bet on the Cowboys if I was allowed to bet on this game.
No, I'm not betting on anybody, but I'm just going to say Cowboys because it would be the weirdest result, and it's week 1.
It would be the most fun result. Like if we came in here tomorrow and the Cowboys won, that would be the most fun.
Don't give it on a Friday.
Come on.
Don't play with me.
Oh, we get to talk about a football game tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Robert and I haven't got to do this yet because you got it. I mean, we kind of did with K-State, Iowa State, but whatever. Like we left you alone. We let you do your whole college football thing with the first real week of college football. You got the whole Monday to yourself, and then me and Robert came back on Tuesday. But this is going to be our first time to actually talk about a football game. I'm so excited. Yeah, I would pick the Eagles, though. If I wanted to be right, I would pick the Eagles.
I have never felt this confident punching an 8.5-point spread. I just feel like they're going to get shellacked tonight.
They have to, right? Jerry Jones cannot get away with this. Like, the country needs the Cowboys to lose.
Yeah, don't want a happy Jerry after the game, for sure.
We do have a sad boy Cowboy on the line if you'd like to talk to a Cowboys fan ahead of the game.
Okay, who is the sad boy Cowboy?
Mike.
Mike is up next.
Jim.
Oh, Jim, Phil, Mike,
sorry,
all the
Jim.
same thing.
Yeah, Jim.
Did you just guess?
Yeah, I did. I put in...
It literally says I am on the call screen.
That's what made me think Mike. The keyboard doesn't work over here. What do you got for a sad desperado?
Hey, man, listen, I appreciate you taking my call. I might as well get it off my chest. The Cowboys are going to get rolled tonight. I hate it. But I will say I was not upset that Parsons was traded because I think we're going to be rebuilding, and 2 first-round picks and a good D tackle was enough for me because I don't want to pay a player that we really can't make use of. I did take and bet. I don't know if you guys are allowed to bet, but I took the Eagles plus 8.5. Anyway, I appreciate you taking my call, and I'm going to go cry in a corner.
All right. Take care of yourself, Jim. What nonsense, though. They're not rebuilding. They've got a quarterback on a $60 million contract. They've got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. They had Micah Parsons. That's not a rebuilding football team.
All in a year ago.
Literally a year ago, Jerry was saying all in. Jim, don't let them trick you. Do not let them sell you this load of crap that Jerry Jones is clearly comfortable selling you. We got to do some polls before we get out of here. Let's go.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What are your expectations of Cam Ward in week 1? Jordan says a lot of throwaways and 3 and outs. DJ says he's expecting no unforced errors. Bill says a few flashes, a couple of touchdowns, and a pick. But I think the pick will be a communication issue, not a bad throw.
No, it's a very specific, very detailed. Yeah, I mean, go out there, play well enough, look like a rookie. Like, I don't have high standards for Cam Ward in week 1.
What was more satisfying?
Just don't nuke them.
Yeah. For Vols fans to watch last week, Bama's collapse or Nico's collapse? 62.5% vote Nico's collapse.
Yeah. Man, they really hate him. Or they hate the idea of him. I don't know if they hate him, but they hate the idea of it. Anyway.
UCLA is going to UNLV, which is not a gimme this week. UNLV was a game away from making the playoff last year, and they've got Dan Mullen as their head coach. So we'll see what happens with UCLA in Vegas this weekend. Who you got? Cowboys or Eagles? 91.4% going with the Eagles.
Yeah, have to. For America.
The
Cowboys can't win. That's the show. It's going to do it for us this afternoon. We appreciate you hanging out. Robert and I will do primetime. Bert, you good with 6 o'clock for primetime so we can enjoy the football?
Ooh, let's make it 5:30.
I don't mind that.
If we started at 5:30, then we will be going by 6.
Yes, we will be on the air by 6 if we start at 5:30. See you then.
Oh, it's Thursday. It's a football game day. And guess what? Today through Sunday, for a limited time, Hattie B's is offering a special. If you order a bucket of wings online with the promo code football, you get a free quart of any side, whether it's the pimento mac and cheese, which is my personal favorite, the southern greens, the baked beans. You can't go wrong. They have the best sides in town, as well as the best hot chicken in the world. If you're like me, the sides are important. Let Hattie B's fuel your watch party. Visit any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations or check them out at Nissan Stadium with the Titans home opener coming up in a couple of weeks against the LA Rams. HattieB.com is where you go to order online. You can also order the bucket of wings in person at any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations. If you download the Hattie B's app today, you get a free dessert simply by doing so. Order for pickup or delivery. Oh, I can't wait to crush some Hattie B's this football weekend. You should too.
Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Ross Johnston. In Titans news, the team released their first injury report of the week yesterday, which included left tackle Dan Moore, who did not practice, as well as corner L'Jarius Sneed and safety Kevin Winston Jr., who were limited participants. In NFL news, the Denver Broncos and outside linebacker Nick Benito reached agreement on a 4-year, $106 million extension, as reported by Adam Schefter. Benito had a career year with Denver in 2024, totaling 13.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. He should be ready to go on Sunday versus the Titans. Also, veteran QB and Tennessee native C.J. Beathard has been picked up by the Detroit Lions as part of their practice squad. The NFL kicks off tonight with the Cowboys heading to Philly to face the Eagles. Kickoff is set for 7:20 p.m. on NBC. You can also listen to Westwood One's broadcast of the game here on The Zone. Some interesting news related to the game broke today when Adam Schefter reported that the Eagles attempted to trade for Micah Parsons in the last couple weeks, but were denied by the Cowboys brass. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. SEC Week 2, Dallas versus Philadelphia tonight, which means the official start of the NFL season. We'll talk about our awards predictions and Super Bowl matchups later on in the show.
Oh, my.
Got a lot to get to today, a lot to talk about. Let's start off with this SEC college slate. Well, of course, we'll be joined by Ryan Shumpert of...
This is what we're starting with?
Yeah. You don't want to start with the SEC?
Jr., the tackle that signed for millions of dollars, didn't practice.
well, let's start there. Do you want to start there or where Big Jeff isn't watching the right kind of film? Because did you hear what Big Jeff said yesterday?
Damn, I didn't hear that.
Okay, so Big Jeff yesterday in the locker room said that if Bo Nix doesn't go to his first read, he's looking to run. Well, Bo Nix has the lowest first read throw rate in the league, 35th out of 39. So not the lowest, but lowest out of the big guys, the big guns, because he throws to his second read a lot. And this guy's like, well, he just looks to run right after his first read's taken away. Makes you wonder what they're watching, because remember when they said that Drake May, there's no fear of Drake May's legs. Him and Arden Key both said he wasn't that athletic.
Oh, man, I think they're just repeating maybe what coaches say.
Well, that's the worry,
There's
right?
no way that they watch film on if the quarterback is going to his second read.
Well, there's the Knocktrop is saying misinformation to throw off the press. Well, the press all knows it's wrong.
Oh, man.
Did he just watch 2 games? Because, right, I mean, like some of these players, not throwing accusations out there, but we know that league-wide, not everybody watches all 16 games. So maybe in the film that he watched, Bo Nix tended to do that. But season long, that is not the case with Bo Nix. Just a fact.
I definitely have not watched film on him on game to game. I've watched a couple games, but I wasn't looking for that. What they should be concerned with, which is he is right, is Bo Nix is a very mobile quarterback. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have issues with him running and improvising. I think he's a much better athlete than people want to give him credit for. And I think he is a threat as a runner to keep drives alive. That is for sure. I would put him kind of on better than actually even Will Levis. It's just has his athleticism. He's better than Cam Ward as far as just an athlete running and, those things. So, yeah, I think, he could be an issue.
I mean,
running the football.
I mean, he can, no doubt about
Scrambling,
it. Yeah, I mean, he does have a high scramble rate, but it's not a high scramble rate compared to everything else. But he does have of all quarterbacks, he has the 8th highest scramble rate. Yeah. So undesigned runs, for those that may not know what a scramble is. But that's all fine. So, but the idea that it's because he doesn't have his first read, it's because nobody's open.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't know. Uh-oh. We got some breaking news.
Oh.
Somebody's open?
I don't know what it is.
Yes, wide receiver Amari Cooper, who just recently signed with the Raiders, has informed the team he no longer intends to play and is going to retire right before the season.
Finally, it happened to someone else.
Well, he signed early. I don't think he was motivated to play, man. But dang, I love his route running though, man. Woo, another Alabama down. Hey man, I like him, man. He was a good dude.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just glad that it finally an impromptu retirement happened to someone else instead of the Tennessee Titans, because it's happened 2 years in a row with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, well, 2 years. Accidents happen.
They do.
Times.
But I will say this: about this Broncos comment and Jeffrey Simmons, because we'll get to Dan Moore too. is that I just want to say this feels very much like nobody runs on the Tennessee Titans, and I don't know if he's begging Bo Nix to run or if I don't. I'm just trying to make sense of why he even put this out there.
Do we have it? I mean, Ross, I know we weren't.
You can check. Easton just quote tweeted the actual audio clip if you want to get.
Because I got to hear the context of how he said that he looks at one read and then runs.
Yeah. So while we wait for that clip, and then we'll continue to pick up that discussion, are you worried at all about Dan Moore missing a practice with what is deemed an ankle, or do you think there's something there to that, or this is just being overly cautious, or really just a rest day? Because they can put rest day on there, and they didn't.
Yeah, they said ankle. Correct?
They said ankle.
Yeah, being not close to the organization like that, not knowing really about what they do at practice and how they kind of navigate. I would have thought it's been 2 weeks that he would have practiced on Wednesday. Tuesday's a day off. You try to look at this like a general week, a regular week, and Wednesday you start practice. So you want everybody out there. And so I think it's something to monitor. I'm definitely not comfortable with that. That's for sure. So that means there was more to the ankle injury than we know of, because that was the Falcons game, correct? So it's been 2 games, so it'll be almost 2.5 weeks.
Because he did play the final game,
did
right?
He? Oh, I don't think.
Because didn't the injury happen in the second game?
No, it happened in the Falcons game. I don't think he played the last game.
Did he not play?
Oh, you don't know.
Well, now you got me thinking. I think you're right, because Oliudo played, right?
He didn't play.
Yeah,
so
you're correct.
So I thought that was just our protective measure, just from outside looking in.
Maybe. Let's hope.
And then now we get to game week, and it's Wednesday, which is the first day of implementation.
Yeah.
I'm sure they implement things before, but during a normal week, Wednesday is that day, and he didn't practice. That is a little concerning. Big money, left tackle, start of the season is not out there. Now, I don't think he's missed very many games in his career.
That's correct. So I think you. But I remember that being the thing. Of course, now he's with the Tennessee Titans. That means he's going to get injured.
So, you want to lean into that, but man, missing Wednesday on game week is a little concerning for me. I think I don't even know if he's missed any game, maybe a couple games throughout his career. He was 4 years there?
Well, I mean, if he did, he maybe missed 1 or 2 in 2023, because I'm looking here, he had over 1,000 snaps in every season but 2023. So he had 951.
Obviously, we know that they signed him. He's pretty durable, solid player. So, and only because it's the blindside tackle, and he's a tackle, and the guy you signed to all the money. So, hopefully, they believe that he'll be ready.
He missed 1 game in 2023.
But, man, that's tough.
All right, get your headphones.
Are you comfortable with who would start there?
Oh, heck no.
Well, that's why it's concerning.
It is concerning. I mean, it was concerning either anyway for me because of the Denver Broncos defense and my, I guess you would say, middling belief in Dan Moore. I don't have a lot of belief in Dan Moore, even healthy, that he's going to be able to stop premier pass rushers on his side.
Would he be going against your guy that just got the extension?
Probably so. I mean, if I were the Denver, Nick Benito.
Yeah. He went to Oklahoma too. Yeah. I looked him up.
Yeah.
I wanted to, because I hadn't really heard of him.
But I kind of am thinking, okay, well, I wasn't really. I've always assumed that with everybody healthy, he would be the weakest link out of all 5. Dan Moore, which is not great for your left tackle, but I mean, that's much better for the Titans offensive line overall. I'm hoping, though, that Dan Moore is healthy, and this is just precautionary, but he's got to get out there sooner rather than later.
Well, anytime you're missing practice on game week.
And I don't think he missed any of the open practices in between now and then. Because weren't they all there Monday and Dan Moore wasn't listed as not there? So maybe it's because he did it practiced on Monday, and then it's an off day today, or maybe he practiced on Monday and he's like, oh, this ain't feeling that good.
That's why I said it.
We don't know. We'll have to see today, I guess.
News to me, but to monitor all the way up, because if he's not practicing on Friday, man, I don't know about that.
All right, put your headphones on, because this audio on this Jeffrey Simmons clip is not very good. So you're gonna have to put your headphones on so you can hear.
Did they slow mo it?
I don't know. I did. So this is where I didn't listen to.
Sounds.
I didn't listen to the Jeffrey Simmons locker room. Okay, any of the locker room reports yesterday. And this was actually put on by a Broncos fan. Found this. Quote tweeted, and it says, and this is the quote that Jeffrey Simmons apparently says, if Bo Nix's first read isn't there, he's going to take off running. Say you don't know Nix's game without actually saying it. And that's from the Broncos fan. So let's hear what Jeffrey Simmons actually had to say.
I'm just saying, we know Bo Nix his first read not there, he's going to take off running with the football. So we got to make sure we're on the same page. We got to make sure we have a balanced rusher. Not trying to be robots out there, but at the same time, we know that if it's not there, Bo Nix is going to take off running. So it's going to be on us up front to make sure we keep him in the well and keep him in the front.
I don't know what the actual question was.
Thank you.
Here's what the actual question was. So maybe this can help lead some credence to what he is probably convey something in the wrong way.
Right.
It says Teron Davenport said quarterbacks excelled at finding running lanes and making big gains versus the Titans last season. Jeffrey Simmons spoke about the more coordinated pass rush they've worked on to curb that and get to the quarterback. They'll have to do so versus Bo Nix and the Broncos this week. So now seeing the question,
right?
I'm not as upset or not as concerned, because what he's ultimately telling everybody is that, like, the takeaway from this should not be the first read thing. The takeaway from this is that we got to mind our P's and Q's because we know this quarterback can run.
Right. You need to stay in your rush lanes and don't get all out of whack. Come here. Yeah, that's exactly how. That's why I said sometimes, hearing it is different than what is written down that was said. I'd agree with everything you said there. I think Bo Nix offensively could be the difference maker with his legs in this game. The more and more I watch them, and I'm sure he's going to improve. So some of those runs that he were doing last year, I wouldn't even be stunned if they put a run play in for him, like in his game. I mean, like he can get around now. And now, naturally, he was scrambling around and trying to make plays and all those things. I like what I saw, man, especially going into a second year with Sean Payton, man. Woo, he's got a lot of upside.
Yeah.
Do you think, Blaine, that it's worth week one using a spy at all with either, Cedric or James potentially?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I would have it in as a package for third down for sure. I don't know if I would use it until it became an issue. Just like I said about Calvin Ridley and the doubling, I don't think they're going to do that unless he shows that he can be a problem. And then when you got the X factor, Sartan, we don't need to double him.
Right.
We'll just put him with him. See, so I don't think he garners, at least as of now, that kind of respect in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Where we're going to W, or a team that you play a couple times a year and you say, hey, man, this guy always gives us problems. There are players like that, and you don't have to be elite players or Hall of Fame jacket type players. You could still be just a really good starter, and just for whatever reason, you have their number. So I think it's going to be play by ear, and I would say the same thing for the Titans. If he becomes an issue with the scrambling, I would have a spy.
Yeah, to me, it's first off, the first 4 weeks are for some teams, newer teams, are for finding out who you are as an offense or as a defense. And for the Broncos, they have a whole new slew of running backs, right? J.K. Dobbins is new, R.J. Harvey is new, and those are their two main running backs. They got some new receivers as well. And some younger receivers that didn't even play last year a lot that are on the team. So, and then they just added Evan Ingram, who, if memory recalls, I don't know if Evan Ingram has practiced a whole lot. I will have to double check that, but I don't even think he played in a preseason game either. So a lot of new pieces for Bo Nix there too.
I got a lot of respect for him as a pass catcher, and one year he just dominated the Titans with the Jaguars.
So for Bo Nix and this team, Bo Nix and the offensive line, they're all steady Eddie, right? We know what to expect from them, but we don't know what to expect from the majority of the other offensive pieces in this particular system with their chemistry quite yet. So it is going to be kind of a filling out process, right? You're probably not going to unleash Bo Nix's leg like you would maybe week 15. But against the Tennessee Titans, you may want to take that chance because you saw last year what they were against running quarterbacks in their run game. You could take advantage of them. You saw in preseason that, granted, no Jeffrey Simmons and no Tavondre Sweat, right? Like for the majority of this team. Mm-hmm. But even some of the starters that were playing in the depth, you could run on those guys. And heck, Kyle Trask was out there, and these guys were kind of, using legs. A couple of other, Easton Stick and Brett Ripien. So they haven't really shown they can stop the run, whether it's a running back or a quarterback, from last year up until now. So maybe you do sprinkle in some stuff, but it'll be real interesting to see how aggressive Sean Payton actually is, because Bo Nix had 640-something dropbacks, 567 pass attempts last year. That's a lot for a rookie. And he's not a big run game guy. Maybe Denver hasn't had the horses to have a good run game because all those guys are gone last year, but we'll see what they are.
See that pun?
Yeah. Horses, Broncos.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Sean Payton, he really doesn't want to run the football. He may have blamed the running backs and not have an elite one. I don't think
never publicly, but by his actions.
Right. So I think they want to throw the football. I think they think a short pass is part of the running game. And that's Andy Reid is like that too. I think he's gotten a little more towards the running game here as time's gone on, with not having elite receivers and just kind of living off of Kelsey and Mahomes naturally. But, I think they're going to throw it around the yard.
Yeah.
I think they better be ready for that.
Well, when we come back, we'll be joined by Rocky Top insider Ryan Schumpert and talk about the Tennessee Volunteers' upcoming game. We also going to talk about the rest of the SEC as well. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
And do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix has built its business on answering those three questions with bold YES. And back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself with one-car garage in the downtown Franklin. And a few months later, Aaron moved to a shop in his barn and backyard and a single-wide trailer with his family, and a dream of offering the best service on European vehicles at below-dealer pricing. And fast forward to today, that barn is now long gone, and Eurofix is thriving with 5 locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet, with more to come. All work performed comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental car available with every appointment. So go ahead, ask yourself, can you trust us? Do we care? And are you committed to excellence? And I think you'll say yes when you see how we treat you. So call or book today at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
1045 is the number. And we're going to go to Ryan Shumpert of Rocky Top Insider and talk some Tennessee Volunteers football. And Ryan, victory over Syracuse, but we know that sometimes week one can be a liar. What do you know in your heart to be true about Tennessee's performance against Syracuse?
Yeah, I think it's the run game is what I know to be true. Tennessee ran the ball extremely well in this game. You saw all three backs that had gotten a lot of preseason, a lot of offseason